morning. This is the Eager Beaver Show.
You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated podcast. True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Miss V Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. PsychicTarot.ca, book your tarot reading and unlock your spiritual journey. And the Pepper Master, hot pepper sauces made from farm-fresh ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind.
Well, hello and good morning. Apologies. Took me a second there. I was just sitting down because I had to reheat my coffee. I don't know if you can see the steam coming off of it, maybe. Yeah, there's a little steam. Oh, yeah. Nothing like a hot cup of coffee in the morning. Or as Homer Simpson would say, I love a cold beer on a hot Christmas morning. Considering yesterday was Christmas. I didn't have a Christmas beer on the morning. I did have a Christmas beer in the afternoon, though, because why not? It is Christmas time. It's not like I have to go to work or anything. Well, other than this, but I can have a beer or a glass of wine while I'm doing this. I'm not doing that, though. Right now, I'm just having a cup of coffee because it is 7:05 a.m., December 26, 2025. I'm not even sure which episode this is. I'll have to check. Let me see. What episode are we? 820? Is it 820? Oh, I don't even know anymore. This is what happens when one gets old. You start forgetting things. And, well, you know, it's 819. Episode 819, Friday, December 26, 2025. Okay, so, yeah. I'm what can I say? A little tired. I went to bed at 9 o'clock last night because, well, I was exhausted. And I did take a nap yesterday at one point, too. So go figure. Anyway, Mr. Beaver will join us shortly. He's just setting up a new location. I don't know where he is. I assume he's with family in Toronto, but I could be incorrect about that. But either way, he should be with us in just a minute. In the meantime, I will try and entertain you fine folks on this lovely, cold Wrestling Day morning. Yes, I know it's officially Boxing Day, which is a holiday in Canada, but not in the United States. Did you know that? Folks in the U.S. have to go to work today. It is a holiday in Canada and has been since time immemorial. I don't know how long it's been a holiday, for decades. Of course, this is an extended long weekend for me, effectively, because Christmas Day, Boxing Day, and then Saturday, Sunday. So 4 days off in a row, and then I go back for 3 days, and then 4 days off again because I booked the second off. The second is a holiday in certain parts of the country. I think, is it Quebec that the second is a holiday? If somebody wants to let me know about that. I'm too tired to look it up, and I got a cup of coffee in my hand. Oh, that is good. I'll have to venture back to the kitchen for a few more of those before the morning is through. It is cold here in the nation's capital this morning. Let me just double check the weather network here. I believe it is somewhere in the neighborhood of minus 27 right about now. Let's see. What is it? It's minus 19, feels like minus 24, and it's going to be colder as the day goes on. Yes. That's a lovely time of year when don't count on anything but the weather changing every few minutes. Yeah, it's supposed to warm up to minus 14 today, but it's going to feel considerably colder. Let's see, minus 22 by 9 a.m. Oh, okay. And this evening, minus 23 is the cold, is the predicted temperature. But for the time being, it is currently minus 19. Feels like minus 24. The reason I'm wearing a toque and a big sweater is that the temperature in my apartment has dropped down to about 20 degrees, and I find that chilly at this time of the year. I will basically be cold until May, as my beloved will tell you. I complain about that often. It's true. I do. I wanted to share a quick story with you in case you hadn't seen it. I think this was shared to me by, who sent this to me? I'm not even sure now. Did Uncover the News? Yes, Uncover the News did send this to me, and I want to share this with you because I think it's pretty funny. And it's also a true story, which is the best part. That's what makes it so wonderful. It's that, well, so you know how the Memorial John F. Fitzgerald Kennedy, the Kennedy Center in New York City has been, Donald Trump has attached his name to it because he's a narcissist asshole who has to put his name on everything. Tells me how small of a person he is. South Park writer Toby Morton owns the Trump Kennedy Center websites. I got to read this to you because it's hilarious. Mr. Beaver's just joining us in the background there. I'll pop him on as soon as he's ready. He looks like he's still adjusting his camera by the things of it. Are you about good to go? Give me a thumbs up if you're good to go, sir. Yeah? Or wait a minute? No, we're good to go? Okay, I'll bring him on in. There we go. Here is Mr. Beaver.
Good. I couldn't see myself, so I didn't actually know whether or not I was in the camera.
Oh, yeah.
So when you say, see if he's ready to go, I don't know if I'm ready to go. I can't see myself.
Are you in the bathroom?
No, I'm in a basement sort of party room where we're at right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we've moved to we took a road trip to Thornhill, just outside of Toronto.
Yeah.
So we did Christmas with the family, and so my Beaver Sweetie's dad, who's a widow, has been for a while now, found love last year.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So we are at his Sweetie's place, which is, it looks like, but it's actually this big party room actually down here. Right now, I'm actually on a literal dance floor.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So there's actually like mirrors right here, so that you can see everything on the parquet floor. That's like nice and slippy, so you can do spins and stuff. So I'm very happy.
Is there a fireman's pole there too?
Is my what?
Is there a fireman's pole?
No, unfortunately, because that would have been super fun.
I was trying to say stripper pole, but
I know. I would have tried. No, it's more set up for ballroom dancing.
Oh, okay. Well, I figure with the mirrors, anyway.
Yeah. Yep. No, she's a very avid ballroom dancer. So
okay. Well, I'm gonna continue on with this story. I just started to read to the folks about Toby Morton. He's a South Park writer, and he was anticipating President Trump renaming the JFK Center for Performing Arts after himself. So he bought domain names connected to the Trump Kennedy Center. Writer Toby Morton told the Washington Post that in August, he bought the TrumpKennedyCenter.org and TrumpKennedyCenter.com domains. As soon as Trump began getting the Kennedy Center board, gutting the Kennedy Center board earlier this year, I thought, yep, that name's going on the building, he told the Post. The writer, whose credits also include Mad TV, buys political domains and turns them into satirical websites as a form of activism. Morton said he was paying attention to news that the president would take over the Performing Arts Center after removing existing board members, installing close Trump allies, and hosting the Kennedy Center honors as a satirical protest to raise awareness. The rest followed on schedule, he told the Washington Post. Morton told USA Today on Sunday that both domains are currently parked through GoDaddy. The writer said once news broke that he bought the domain names, he received responses that were overwhelmingly positive. I've received a large number of messages from creatives, writers, designers, and performers offering to contribute and help elevate what comes next, he told USA Today. He added that enthusiasm is shaping the direction of the upcoming site, which will focus squarely on Trump's narcissism, branding impulses, and the broader cultural implications of attaching his name to institutions that were meant to be civic, not personal.
Like the Trump Peace Center.
Yes. White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt announced December 18th that the Kennedy Center board voted unanimously to rename the building the Trump Kennedy Center.
Yes, of their own free will.
Yes, yeah. I have just been informed that the highly respected board of the Kennedy Center, some of the most successful people from all parts of the world, have just voted unanimously. I can't read this without laughing. I'm sorry.
There's always this layer of like
Just been informed that the highly respected board of the Kennedy Center, some of the most successful people from all parts of the world, have just voted unanimously to rename the Kennedy Center into the Trump Kennedy Center because of the unbelievable work President Trump has done over the last year in saving the building. Just voted unanimously.
Sorry.
Representative Joyce Beatty, Democrat of Ohio, filed a lawsuit Monday seeking to remove President Trump's name from the Kennedy Center for Performing Arts. Beatty, an ex officio board member of the center, said adding the president's name to the venue is a flagrant violation of the Constitution. Congress intended the center to be a living memorial to President Kennedy and a crown jewel of the arts for all Americans, irrespective of party. Unless and until this court intervenes, defendants will continue to divide Congress and thwart the law for improper ends, according to the lawsuit. I mean, I couldn't make this up. The guy who has never earned anything in his life likes to put his name on everything he possibly can. The man who doesn't know how to actually do any work, the man who avoided Vietnam, who seems to suddenly think that he's this heroic figure, I'm
right with you, but here's the thing that gets me, right? The Kennedy Center was named as a memorial tribute. It is now the Trump Kennedy Memorial Center for the Performing Arts. He's not dead yet. I mean, he's walking dead, but he's not dead yet.
Perhaps a harbinger.
Well, I think it's. I read somewhere, that he's fearing, I guess, that nobody will remember him. It's like, oh, trust me, we'll remember you, just not
the way you. Yeah,
nobody else will name them after me, so I got to do it myself.
His name will be stricken from every memorial,
I know.
All the plaques he put up in the Hall of Presidents, they'll all be removed.
I'm sitting there and I'm going, it's like, I'm afraid they won't put them up. You're almost there. You're almost there, Donald. Why won't they put them? Why? You're almost there.
I mean, textbook narcissism.
I bet you that if Trump actually had money of his own, he didn't have to have it all donated or whatever, however it is he manages it. I'm surprised he didn't buy the Toys R Us brand and just call it Trumps R Us or Narcissists R Us. Just go.
Well, there's always the possibility of that, right? I mean,
the backwards R is Russian.
Yes, it is. Yes.
It is Cyrillic.
This is true.
Surprised he hasn't turned the R in his last name backwards yet.
Well, he is. Apparently, Putin called to wish him a Merry Christmas.
Oh, isn't that sweet? Such love between dictators and tyrants and war criminals. We war criminals. We need to, Donald. We war criminals. We need to stand together. Merry Christmas. Damn it.
I'm not picking on the USA today. This is stuff just coming across my feed. Name something USA has done better than other countries. That's like speedrun, destroying itself, invade other country.
Falling off a cliff.
We're number one.
Falling off a cliff.
Yeah. Oh, I can't read that one.
Oh, okay.
I can't read that one.
Why not?
Oh, it's
Whisper it in my ear.
no, it's not. I can't read that one.
Fun.
No, if I read that one, we'll get in trouble. So I'm not going to. No, I'm not going to read that one.
Send it to me. Maybe I'll read it.
No, you don't want to read it. Trust me. Don't.
Here's the pot.
Injecting themselves, blowing up civilians across the world, just dropping so quickly on freedom indexes. Yeah, they're rated as of 2025. Freedom House's Freedom in the World Index. Canada's ranked number 5th, Finland 1st, Sweden 2nd, Sweden and Norway tied for 2nd. Australia's tied for 2nd. So it's a 3-way tie for 2nd. Canada's 5th. So I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So a 3-way tie for 2nd would technically make Canada 3rd because Canada, Denmark, Ireland, and I'm not sure, that's not France. Is that? Yeah, that's France, are tied for 5th.
Okay.
So technically they'd be tied for 3rd, right? And US of A is 53rd. But, they want to make Canada the 51st state and give us the freedom that we've never had. Which freedom would that be? That we would lose immediately, like the ability to say anything bad about dear leader and not be punished for it. Think of all those Alberta folks. Well, let me rephrase that. Let me take that back. I'm not picking on Alberta. Think of all those folks who flew the F. Trudeau flags and how well that would go over if they ever did that about Air Drumpf. He'd be in jail. He'd lock him up. He's already threatened to remove the licenses of anybody who says anything bad about him. Man is a dictator. Anyway, I don't want to dwell on it. It's just the day started that way, and I thought I'd dive into it a little bit. But yeah, let's move on from that. I don't want to stick on that. It's Wrestling Day. I like Wrestling Day. Don't you remember that from Bob and Doug McKenzie? Wrestling Day. Yeah, he bombed Nigeria to save Christians, apparently.
Yeah, I know. Well, Nigeria also has oil, isn't it?
Yeah, they do. They have oil. Yeah.
Lots of it.
Yeah. Funny how that works out, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Alberta.
You're next.
The Alberta separatists, just saying. Like we talked about recently, I mean, if you want to become independent and you have lots of oil, just look at what the guy is doing to independent countries that have a lot of oil, and there's your future. Is that the future you really want for yourselves? I mean, you need to stop and think about that for a second.
Yeah, no kidding.
Same thing, because I know there's a couple of them in Saskatchewan too who would like to go. So the Canadians, the alleged Canadians who keep on wanting to either join or leave, particularly from that part of the country, need to stop being as breathless as they are and maybe open the eyes a little wider and take a look at their TV screens and what's going on and connect a few dots there.
I don't know if that can happen now.
I know, but I mean, they should be looking at Venezuela and Nigeria and saying, wow, maybe this is our future. Maybe we should reconsider.
Well, he's doing everything.
Unless they like that.
He's doing everything he can to throw roadblocks in front of Ukraine and their path to peace, because all he wants to do is hand everything over to Russia. So, he's going to hand over Ukraine to Russia if he can get away with it. He's going to turn Gaza into a Trump resort. He's going to take all the oil from Venezuela and Nigeria. I guarantee you Alberta is in his sights. It's just a matter of time. And if people can't open their eyes and see what's actually happening, and we're sitting here trying to tell people what's happening, and we're not the only ones doing it, and people still aren't listening, well, I do this. I throw my hands up and go, well, I might as well just, drink my coffee and go about my day, because nobody gives a shit, it appears.
Wish them well and say enjoy.
Yeah.
Hope it works out for you, buddies.
Good luck with that, Yeah, that's the other thing. Greenland. Thank you, Linda. She's like, don't forget about Greenland. Yeah, they want all the minerals.
Yep. We'll be sitting there like this watching. Just like, we'll be watching from our side. Wishing you the best.
I doubt Greenland has oil, but they definitely do have minerals. But, I mean, you have to dig through several kilometers of ice to get to them first. And that's not actually a good idea. You think he cares? I mean, look, Polyev wants to bring back plastic bags and plastic straws.
Yes, because that's common sense.
No, actually, it's not. It's not.
Common sense. Why would we make things more difficult? It's common sense. We could just take it and throw it away. That's so easy. Why? Why would we not do that? These guys are so silly, man. The problem is that they have access to power.
Well, that's
they're silly, but they're dangerous.
Well, you know, if things go according to the way they should, and I mean the way they should, evidenced by the last year of Pierre Poilievre's political career, if things go away the way they should, he will not survive this leadership review. He should.
Yeah, but
he probably will.
Should. But yeah, he will, because he picked all the delegates.
Oh, did he? I didn't know that.
Well, yeah, like he was doing in the election, you know, with the nominations. Like Sabrina Maddow decided she wants to go. Caroline Meehan wanted to go. Wyatt Claypool wanted to go. All these people, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, nope, and all the women, it's like, oh, you're not fully pro-life. Oh, I see why your nomination was not approved. Okay, so because the Conservatives just recently, like the whole organization, just passed this thing to sort of curtail the leader's power, saying that in any upcoming election, there is only 8 seats out of the 343 that the leader can parachute a candidate into, and it has to be a seat that doesn't already have an incumbent that's running again.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So the party reined him in. That was another slap across the face that he got to his leadership that didn't get a lot of attention. But the party, the membership is like, Listen, this is supposed to be a grassroots movement. What the hell are you doing coming in and saying, no, not you, but because you like me?
Well, he's a dictator. So let's hope, even though he's handpicked these people, let's hope they just go, okay, look, this guy's got to go anyway. I don't give a shit what I told him. He's a terrible human being. We're never going to win with him in power. Never.
Yeah, if he's a terrible human being, is not going to do it for them.
No, you're right. The fact that they can't win with him.
Yeah.
They cannot win with him. They can't.
And he chose a lot of those delegates a while ago, right? Yes. Before he made that comment to the RCMP that started the slip and slide down to finally people talking about him, how they should have been talking about him for 20 freaking years. It's like, this guy is not new to us. He's got a long track record. I don't understand why everybody's suddenly surprised. Oh my God, he's incompetent. I can't believe he's slipping. Have you watched him over the last 20 years? Even Harper wouldn't make him a minister until near the end. I guess, and I'm reading the book Ripper, and I'm reading how hard Pierre tried when he was young to ingratiate himself, and how hard he worked, and he was everywhere and doing everything and mobilizing everything and setting up stuff, and everybody's going, oh my God, look at him go. He's such a star. He's such a go-getter. Look at him go. He's got this new style of doing things that's really, right? Like, everybody knows this guy. After 20 years, you develop a track record. And this is the thing I don't understand about our media, that they're writing about him like they're just discovering him. It's like, we all listen the guy who on the day of the Residential School of Apology, that Stephen Harper doesn't really much care for Indigenous people anyway, is going to make on behalf of all of Canada. He goes up and blows it up. Because Stephen Harper wasn't particularly fond of that, by the way. Turns out to tore a big strip out of Pierre Poilievre for doing that. But according to what's going on, what's being said there, and the official line, even though we didn't see anything publicly about that when it happened, but apparently behind the scenes he took quite a number on Poilievre, and then it's like a guy who will do that to his own boss.
Yeah.
Right, on the day of something historic and taken away, who hates Indigenous people to the point of, and no wonder he's today saying, well, if I were when I'm prime minister, that pipeline is going to go over their territory, whether they want it or not. So really, this guy, all of us, you're surprised that he's not a good party leader. You're surprised that he blew a campaign. Really? Because I am not.
Well, I mean,
I am not.
It's no secret that Harper was a terrible prime minister. It's no secret of the damage he did to the average Canadian citizen and how he sold off so many things that will have damaging repercussions for decades to come. And we're still in FIPA for another 20 years or so. It's no secret about all those things. Here's the thing, though. Poilievre, like you say, is a ripper. Harper was a strategist.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like Harper, but I can respect the game. Like he knew, he's like, look, he knew putting an end to same-sex marriage was a no-starter. It was a non-starting issue. He knew that. So he just left it on the table. Just, no, we're not touching it. It's fine. Well,
he did try to cancel all the marriages of people who are not Canadian citizens who came here to get married and he did, instead of holding the vote on taking away same-sex marriage, he held a vote on whether or not we should open a debate about taking away same-sex. He chickened out, but he was still throwing the red meat.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
But again, it wasn't as much of a hot button issue with him as it was with Poilievre.
No, and he backed away from that quick. He even backed away from canceling the international marriages because people, it's like, my God. It's like, I think Harper, I think if we had a chance to interview Harper and he were to be fully candid, he was surprised that so many Canadians were supporting the marriages of even non-Canadians. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
That's why I tried it.
He was a strategist and he knew how to play the long game, whereas Poilievre just wants everything for himself right now, like a petulant, spoiled child.
Veric assault.
Now, I want it now.
Veric assault. He's the Veric assault of Canadian politics. Him and Danielle Smith.
Yeah.
Together as a tandem.
Well, if I was prime minister, we would have that pipeline built already. No, you wouldn't.
No.
You wouldn't.
No. We have we have a pipeline that is already built for sale and nobody's lining up to buy it. Yeah. But he thinks that somebody's going to come up and build a whole new one. We have one ready to go.
The uninformed folks in this country who believe the lies that they've been told. Alberta needs to stop equalization payments. Okay, it's not a thing.
That's nothing.
Not a thing. Number one, and that was changed by Jason Kenney during Harper's regime. Okay, so it's not a thing. Number one. The other issue I believe that they fail to understand is that the former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, did more for Alberta than any Prime Minister in Canadian history.
Yep.
Spent more money, gave more money, did more for that province than any Prime Minister in history. Period. Including the one from Calgary, who he's actually not originally from Calgary, he's originally from Toronto, but let's not split hairs. But I mean, really, he built a pipeline at great political cost. And Alberta still a large number of people in Alberta, the loud voices, carry on like he was the scourge of existence. I'm like, he's not his father, man.
I like this comment.
Yeah, building a pipeline would be one more thing that Justin Trudeau did that Skippy couldn't do.
Do you think maybe that's the reason Skippy's so pissed off?
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure he misses looking across at Justin lovingly every day in the House of Commons. You know, when everybody was looking the other way, he'd always turn and look at Justin.
Justin, I miss you so much.
Well, you know.
Why did you leave me?
For a number of reasons.
I became minister today. Why?
For a number of reasons, he did that. I mean, he did it because it was his nemesis, but at the same time, I don't know, he's not a hard fellow to look at. So I think Pierre kind of, he let his beard slip.
Justin, you're so dreamy. I hate you, but you're so dreamy.
Look, I don't care that Poilievre is in the closet. I don't care about that. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. His sexuality doesn't matter to me. The fact that he's a hypocrite about it, that's what matters.
Yeah, his sexuality doesn't matter to me. In fact, I would have preferred that he never had sex. Just saying.
That's the tea.
Hey, this is Canada. We had Trudeau 2, Oh, a lot of the Mulroney kids are somewhat politically involved. I'm not sure I want a second generation of Poilievres in politics.
Oh, dear God, no. Oh, dear God, no.
Yeah. It's like,
dude,
you can't have sex. You are not allowed to procreate, man.
Look, I will leave his children out of this. I will never make a comment on his daughters. Okay.
No.
His wife, though, she put herself in the crosshairs. So she retweeted things about the prime minister being a pedophile.
Yes.
You put yourself in the game.
You are fair game.
You are open to any shots that come your way. And if you can't defend it and say, you shouldn't do that, too bad. You stepped onto the ice with a stick and a puck and no helmet.
Hang it above your head.
Somebody put you into the boards. You asked for it. You don't want to get hit. Don't play the game. You play the game. You are fair game.
Or skate like Lemieux. So nobody gets you, but
you got to have brains for that. And I don't think she's that smart, because the fact that she said the things that she did proves to me she's not nearly as intelligent as people would like to think she is, including herself.
Yeah. And again, one of those things that I keep on saying, right? If you have to say things about yourself, then you're not. I mean, the magazine that she started was called Pretty and Smart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And why are you writing about this? What's your profound depth of knowledge and expertise on being pretty and smart?
Title for a magazine is very strange.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, right? It's like, well, I'm pretty, but I'm also smart. A magazine for that demographic?
I don't know. Would that be The Economist?
Right? Well, are there a lot of pretty economists out there who read The Economist? I'm sure there must be. Good looks get sprinkled around. I'm sure among economists there are plenty of them.
I mean, if she wanted to have a magazine that was along the lines of Pretty and Smart, she should have called it the Vogue Economist. Right?
That actually could work.
I know.
Or,
I know it could. Remember all the political writing in Teen People? Was it Teen Vogue?
Yeah.
Teen Vogue? Yeah,
yes.
Teen Vogue,
yes. Teen Vogue, yes.
That had great political writing in the last few years.
Yes.
And people were going, why is Teen Vogue doing this? And somebody went, well, shouldn't we inform the younger generations? They're going to be voting in a year or two. Some of them are already voting age. Maybe we should give them the information that they so desperately need to make an informed decision. So I remember when somebody says, why would they do it? And I go, why not? That's actually a smart move on their part. They're still going to cover, the makeup and the fashion, because Vogue is all about fashion. But if they have a little political system, political editorial or article in there, I don't see any problem with that. I mean,
so it's because
substance to the style,
right? And there's lots of ways you can communicate that, same concept. That maybe doesn't roll off the tongue as easily. You'd have to be creative and find some words, but it could be fashionable and accomplished rather than pretty and smart, right? Or there's lots of words in the English language that if you want to write to that sort of demographic, but it's just more like, it's like, oh, like this is the one for people who are pretty and smart, like that it's like that the high school girl clique again.
Yeah.
Right thing, magazine for you. And it's like, and then we're supposed to then see her on campaign with him and think that she is going to bring some kind of value added to the nation. She brings value added to him because, she can human when he can't.
We think.
So, come on.
Yeah.
Right. So, I'm reading all the articles, right, that she softens things for him and warms the crowd up for him and all that kind of stuff. And look, she's great at that. in that sense. I mean, I will give her that, right? She has rebranded herself from La Petite Fille de Terrebonne or something like that, rather than the girl from Venezuela, because she even speaks fluent French with the Quebecois accent and whatnot, and use like the language and the terminology.
She speaks Spanish as well, does she not?
I would assume so.
Yeah, I don't honestly know. How old was she when they came to Canada?
Very, very, very young.
Yeah, she may still speak
she was a
Spanish.
child.
They probably spoke Spanish in the house.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because my
Because the parents are from the old country, right?
Yeah, my friends' daughters speak English, French, and Spanish because their father is from South America and their mother is from Montreal. She's a Montreal Anglo, but I mean, she grew up in Montreal. So, she may be Anglo, but at the same token, she's also Franco because the Montrealers are just, as anybody who's ever been to the city, you can hear a conversation at the table next to you switch back and forth from both official languages 16 times in 5 minutes.
Yep.
And it's nothing to these folks. It's just literally how they live, right?
Yep.
I always found that fascinating too, because I don't know any other city in the world where that happens. And I've traveled a lot.
Mm-hmm. It happens a bit in Ottawa, but
it does happen in Ottawa, but not as much as Montreal.
Not as much. No.
Although I will say, when I was in Delhi, I would encounter people switching from English to Hindi constantly.
Okay.
It's a fairly common thing, but it wouldn't be like 3 words in the middle of a sentence. It would be a paragraph, and then they'd switch back, and But I did encounter that in Delhi or New Delhi. Delhi.
Yeah. It is like that. As someone who's fluently bilingual, I almost say like I'm too bilingual because just that thing that you say when people mispronounce a word, it's usually because they're reading it.
Correct.
And haven't heard it yet, so they don't know what to say. It's the same thing that I remember when I went to university for the very, 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 very first time. I went to McMaster. Mm-hmm. McMaster teaches in English, but I had done all my studies in French, and I had a first-year calculus class. And first course, right? we're sitting at the table, at the desks and whatnot, and the professor is talking about integers.
Never heard that word.
I totally lost. And here I'm in first year university, completely lost, and I go going to the guy beside me. He's like, "What's an integer?" And they're looking at me like I am a freaking alien. How did you get into this program if you don't know what the hell an integer is? I've never heard the word.
Never heard the word.
That's when the light went on that the entirety of my math terminology and vocabulary is French.
Yeah.
And the only English math language that I know is just picked up from talking to people or like osmosis around me. But so, I can say addition, I can say subtraction, I can talk about exponents and logarithms and all that kind of stuff. But as soon as you say integer, I'm screwed because
I don't know what that means.
Because we say nombre entier in French, which literally translated means whole numbers. Integer is really far from whole number. Right?
Well, that's the reason. I remember when I was in Sec 5 advanced math, which I had no right in being in that classroom because I didn't have a grade 11 math. Sec 5 would be considered grade 12 in Ontario. I didn't have a grade 11 math credit because of the way that you move from province to province and being a military kid, hell, you could move from one side of the city to the other, and it was a different curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
So, I still don't have a grade 11 math credit or a grade 9 math credit, but I have a grade 10 and grade 12, and I was able to graduate. But no, you're not taking it away from me, all right? You're not taking my diploma away from me. But sitting there in trigonometry, and they're talking about the wrapping function and binomials and polynomials and what? And all these terms I've never heard before.
Yeah.
And I think I got a 48 in the final, but I took the day of my final exams, I took the entry-level math course, and I got 100% on that, so I was able to graduate. That was the only way I was able to do it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I took another course. I took an exam for a course I wasn't even enrolled in, but I was able to. I think I got 99%, which gave me a passing grade. So.
Yeah, for me too. So I skipped grade 9 math and science, and they put me right into grade 10. But I had to do some placement tests before they did that. So while I was doing those placement tests and whatnot at the beginning of the year in grade 10, that's when they were teaching factoring, which you need for the rest of your high school years.
Yes, you do.
As you're doing algebra.
Yeah. You do.
I literally missed that unit when they said, finally, you can go to grade 10. I was lost for the next 3 years. Because at the beginning of grade 13, because I absolutely needed the grade 13 calculus to get into that program at McMaster, I actually went to my grade 10 math teacher all over again into her office. And I said, could you teach me factoring all over again? Because I really need a good grade to get into this program. And I have no idea what this is.
Well, I mean,
And she did. Like I said, 1 hour or two, she gave it to me, and then I was on. Because I went from being a 93, 95 student in math to about a 78 student in math. Thank God for trig and geometry and all that kind of stuff, because it had nothing to do with factoring, and aced those and then raised my average up. But when we got to grade 13, the grade 13 course wasn't calculus. The whole course, all year. And I think, I better bone up on that factoring or else I'm up the creek. And then after that, I was a 93, 95 student in math all over again.
Oh,
You miss like one little bit of information, right? And you're lost for years.
it's true. It's true, because, like I said, I still don't have that credit that I could so desperately happen to need at that certain point in time. Do I need it now? No, not really. I figured out a way to do math better on my own, because they didn't. The way my brain works, I believe. I was talking to Bridget about this the other day. See, the way my squirrel brain works.
Yep.
I believe I'm on the spectrum, and I think that many of us are, and we don't know it. Again, autism is a big spectrum.
Right.
And I saw a video the other day on TikTok, and these folks went home to visit their parents. It was a brother and sister who went home to visit their parents, and their mother, who has become a Trump-loving denialist, said, we didn't have autism back when we were kids because we didn't get all the vaccines they get today. It's like, yeah, well, you're lucky you lived, number one. And number two, yes, autism existed. We just didn't have a way to discern what it was. No, there's no such thing as autism. And so he proceeds to go about the house with his sister saying, you're right, there's no such thing as autism. These are the special spoons that we don't touch, that are hung on the wall to admire. These are the special dishes that never get used. Those are my VHS tapes. Don't touch them. Whatever you do, don't touch them. This over here's, that's a form of autism. You don't believe me? Look at Sheldon, the character of Sheldon.
Mm-hmm.
Penny, that's your brain telling you have to function in that manner. Well, it's like Grandpa. There's no such thing as autism. Now leave me alone while I play with my trains for the next 4 hours and don't talk to me. That is a spectrum. And I know people get bent out of shape, but I'm like, I think maybe I might be on the spectrum somewhere because of the things that I have to do and the way my brain works and the way I have to do things. Did I let my obsessive compulsive disorder go? To a certain degree, yes. I've learned to let things go so that I could live a more relaxing life. That was self-taught. Nobody taught me that. I figured that out on my own. And it wasn't easy.
No.
But I figured out you were always fighting an internal battle. If somebody came in and their shoes were disorganized, I had to organize them because they had to be done that way. Well, now I'm like, no, it's not mine. I'm not going to touch it. I learned, that's how I started. If it's not mine, I don't need to worry about it. I can back off and move away from it. And that way, it's somebody else's issue. It's not my issue. Yes, yeah, you're right. He was problematic for autism representation, but it helped open the door a bit. It did help open the door. And it's one of those things. It's like I would, my coats used to have to be hung in a certain, my shirts have to be, they have to go from blue to red. I am on the spectrum. No, my shirts have to be all the blue, and they have to be the dark blue to the light blue, the dark red to the light red to the pink. All the whites have to go together. That's the way I've always been. And they're like, no, you're just organized. No, that's a form of autism. It's part of the spectrum. It doesn't mean I sat in the back of the class going like this or smacking my head. It's a spectrum, a wide-ranging spectrum. So little things where it's like, I'm supposed to feel something about somebody or feel something for somebody, and I just don't. I used to feel really guilty about that. I'd feel terrible if I wasn't, it's like I'm supposed to feel for this person right now who just had a terrible loss, and I feel nothing. Or I should feel joy for this person who's had a wonderful triumph, and I feel nothing. Now, is that part of depression or is that part of autism? I don't know. I don't know. Now, the thing is this, I have been able to fake my way through it most of my life. And it's true. I will act accordingly because society deems it to be that way. We call it putting on the mask for those of us who have depression. We put the mask on to appease everybody around us so they're not constantly having to listen to us talk about how miserable our interior monologue is, telling us all the terrible things about ourselves. I'm almost doing an ASMR here, but I'm not really doing an ASMR here. I am talking about mental health, and it's something we do on this show.
Yeah, indeed.
And, it boils down to wanting to be a functioning member in society. So I mimic. And a lot of us do that. We mimic what others do.
Yep.
I think it's why I'm able to do accents so well. I'm pretty good at it. I can do different accents of different ethnicities and nations, and I'm pretty good at it. And I think it's because I'm able to mimic. And I think the mimicry has to do with sort of a self-protection standard. You protect yourself by saying and doing the things you need to be able to get through society on a daily basis without being harmful to anybody around you or yourself for that matter. Anyway.
Yeah. That's a good observation there, sir.
Well, I try, I try. Sometimes I fail, sometimes I succeed. But as long as I can get through the day without harming myself or others, I think I've done okay.
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't always succeed at that. I oftentimes fail, and I feel terrible about it. But, and the thing is, when I fail at something like that, it has a really super deleterious effect upon me, my person, because sorry, I just had a light issue here. This light seems to be not working correctly. It has there's the ADHD. I just have to stop what I'm doing to fix that. It can have a deleterious effect because I'm not able to be present when I should be present. I don't know what's going on with this thing. Whatever. I'll fix it later. Sometimes technology isn't working the way it's supposed to, and that can be most distressing and upsetting. Oh, that's why the battery seems to be dead. Okay, I'll charge it up later. There we go. See? Yeah. Squirrel. One of my coworkers is like that, and he'll go, "Sorry, my squirrel brain." I go, "Don't worry, I have the same thing. We're good. We're good." He's like, "Really?" I go, "Oh, yeah, absolutely." He'll be sitting there, and he goes, "Okay, you want to go up over?" He goes, I go, "Here, why don't you just do it?" And he goes, "I'm sorry." I go, No. I know how your mind is going. I know right now your mind is going, "Paul, just you do it this way. Do it this way." It's like, I'm the same way. So here, you do it. You do it. It's quicker that way, and you'll be a little bit more relaxed.
You were, you just reminded me of something. I think you might have just helped me with my beaver sweetie, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, my beaver sweetie is a very similar in that sense in terms of a squirrel brain. And sometimes he even is thinking things and then he'll start talking mid-sentence. Right? And I'm sitting there and it's like we're just doing stuff and all, and he starts talking. It's like, how did we get, why are we talking about this? How did we get there? There was like absolutely nothing in the moment before that has anything to do with this. And then, and then they'll start. And that's why I thought it was a really strange thing. It's like, what is it? I don't know what it is. He just starts talking. It's like, so this is a thought that he already had going on. And then all of a sudden he starts vocalizing it. And then like sometimes he'll get to a part like this and then they'll stop. And I'm like, and I'm waiting for the rest. And it's like,
Dissociative, right?
There's a lot of our conversations that are like, what is it? What is this? How did we get there? Why? It's like, you make it so hard for me to follow you.
Carol, brain works faster than your mouth,
Yeah. But yesterday we were preparing to come over here. And he was tidying up the kitchen, and I was grabbing bags and loading them up into the car. And I had already gone to the car with him standing like right next to me, like 3 feet away from me, as I'm like putting on the coat and the boots and grabbing the bags and going to the car for the first one. And I come back and he looks up at me and he says, "Oh, yeah, you should load up the car." And I'm looking at him and going, "I'm doing that right now." It's like, and you just like let me in when you said that. If that's the way the brain works, then he's think I should be doing this, I should be doing that, I should be doing that. And he's just like, and I'm not here, and he's just like saying it out, and it's not. And it was a little edgy yesterday morning, and it was sort of like, "Why are you acting like you're my manager?"
Because that's the way the brain works.
Do that over there, do this over there, this, and it really wasn't. It was just like, "Oh, squirrel brain, I thought about this. Ooh, I thought about that," and I'm mentioning it, and it's sort of like I'm just. I got, like I said, I got a little itchy. It's like, oh, that might be what's going on. It's not coming from the I'm standing up from on high and no, you do this and you do that, like this while I tidy up this one little dish. It's like it's like you still don't have the pants on that we need to be the car and driving while I'm loading the car, and you're telling me what to do next. It's like, go get dressed. It's like,
Yeah, it's the brain. It's the way it works. Well, and
like, look at you, look at me. I got a coat and boots on. I'm ready to go.
I was talking to my mother about this the other day, and I said, I think we all, and she said, you're probably right. I said, no, I think I am right, Mom, because you can cite things to me. And she goes, what do you mean? I go, well, if you were going to work and somebody was driving you, she goes, oh yeah, you have to get in that lane and you have to turn at this light at this time. And then you have to get over into I'm like, that is part of it. I remember driving her to work. Her brother was driving her somewhere and she's like, yeah. I'm like, which one of us is driving?
Right? Let me lead, damn it.
The best part, I remember when that took place, I said, but Mom, which one of us is driving? I think I know how to do this. I've been driving for a long time and I'm good at it. And she said, that just calmed her right down because I wasn't doing it the way she needed it to be done.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So, and I'm sure that we have all encountered somebody in our lives who insisted you do something a certain way and wouldn't let you do it your way.
Yes.
And the reason is they are on the spectrum. It's a form of autism where it has to be done this way or it won't work is the way their brain works. I've been like that my whole life. I've learned to accept that other people have ways of doing things that are also very successful. And I've also learned that sometimes their way is better than the way I was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I always did it that way didn't mean it was good. And I've learned from it. So how far on the spectrum am I? I don't know, but clearly I am. But I have taught myself to accept that somebody else might know more than me about something. So maybe I'll just listen to what they have to say. And when they're dead wrong, and sometimes they are, I will be very gentle in pointing out how wrong they were. Very, very gentle. Like, okay, well, guys, that didn't really work great. So why don't we try it my way? Because I've been doing this for a little while. Let's try it hey, Paul, that worked great. Yeah, I know. Not bad, eh? I've done this before.
Yeah.
When I was younger, it would have been, no, you guys are idiots. You don't know what the hell you're doing. You're wrong.
And here's the thing, mate. Sorry, go ahead.
Wisdom and age teaches you to be more accepting and more understanding, even though your brain is telling you, no, they're doing it wrong. They're doing it wrong. It's like, no. What your brain says and what your mouth says are two different things. So you have to learn to temper your thoughts, temper your words, and be gentle with people because, as our friend Murray says, be hard on the problem and gentle with the people.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I wasn't as gentle on the person yesterday.
It's going to happen. But see, I think I just gave you some knowledge that you didn't have up until
now.
No,
you did because Alex did that very thing that you said about like calming down when I came back and said, I'm already doing it. And I was pretty firm and assertive.
Mm-hmm.
Except that I will use positive words. And he said, "Oh, okay. So we both had a great idea. You just had it before I did, right?" Which was like a nice way to and in the moment, I did recognize it, but when we chatted last night before going to bed about about the day. He reminded me of that because I had forgotten it by last night. I was like, oh yeah, you did do that, didn't you? Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
now moving forward, you can say, I have some information that I didn't have yesterday. I have some knowledge now that will help me in the
Pump
future.
my brakes.
Yes, yeah, and it will, because that's Bridget and I have figured out things about each other when it comes to that, where I'm just like, but this what? And, we've been able to sort through things by having a conversation. And she's like, I'm beginning to understand better how your brain works. And I go, good, because I still don't know. ADHD and on the spectrum. And OCD, is that a part of autism? I certainly think it is. Maybe they called it OCD so that it could gently ease people into telling them you're on the spectrum. And nobody wants to be on that spectrum. But I think there's a vast number of people in society that are and have no frickin' idea. No
I've
idea.
wondered that about Polyev, actually.
What's that?
I've wondered it about Polyev.
He might be on the spectrum, but he definitely has narcissistic personality disorder. And that's my non-professional, non-medical, layman's blue-collar construction worker terminology.
Just for me, I started wondering it during the election campaign with the sheer inability to pivot no matter what.
Yes. Yeah.
Just being so
very much
rigid. Because he so wants to be prime minister. I mean, this has been his entire life dream.
Yes.
It's like, and really, well, not really, but pretty much all he needed to do was just pump his damn brakes, just calm down, stop overselling, stop hitting at every freaking target with maximum force all the time. Just temper some stuff. Allow yourself to be a little more human or relaxed. Show a little bit more regular personality. And they're like, that was the thing that was scared the shit about me about Harper.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it's the same thing that scares the shit about me about Danielle Smith in a way. But they do it in two different ways. But Harper had this ability, because he was so bland and so boring.
Oh, God.
Because the most atrocious things would just seem like gobbledygook regular policy, right? He would just like slow deliver it in that sort of very calm, not. Harper had one emotion. I never saw him get upset or excited or anything like that. Just, gray and drab, and just like make it sound reasonable, make it sound economic, make it sound like, and it'll pass.
He's good at that.
Yeah, and Danielle Smith has the same ability, but different. She makes outright bigotry sound like I'm sharing a chocolate muffin recipe with you.
Yes, yeah.
Right?
She's media trained, right? Harper was media trained, but he's a very smart man. Very intelligent. Very, very smart. Polyev is not nearly as smart as he'd like to think he is. He's not an idiot. He does idiotic things.
Polyev is clever, but he's not particularly smart.
No. And he has no compassion or empathy for others. None. Zero.
No contrition.
No, well, I know this because just recently, friends were at a Calgary Flames hockey game, and they were sitting in the stands. And as it turns out, Pierre Polyev was also there. And one of my friends had worked with Polyev in the past. Polyev saw him and sent him a text. And my other friend said, oh, maybe he's just calling, checking to see, how you're doing, because there's, the economic cuts left, right, and center, and he wants to know if you're affected by it. And he just looked at my buddy and said, he doesn't give a shit about me or that. He doesn't care about that at all. And he's like, really? He goes, no, he doesn't care. He would never contact me to ask how I'm doing. He would only contact me if it was suiting his purpose to get him to the next place he needs to be at. This guy worked for him.
Can you give me a ride?
I have friends who went to high school with him and will tell you he is the exact same person he was in high school. He never grew up. I'm not the same person I was in high school. I've grown an awful lot since then as a human being, not just as a man. He hasn't, not one bit. He is the same 15-year-old angry high school boy he was back then. And he still is today at what, 42? Was he 42, 43?
Oh, I think he's a little older than that, maybe 48 now.
No, God, no. He's nowhere close to 50. No, goodness, no. He entered politics when he was like, what, 21? And he's been in there 21 years?
25. Okay, yeah. He might be closer to 45.
Yeah, he's not that. He's not close to 50, I'll tell you that.
Okay.
Either way, he hasn't grown. In 30 years, he hasn't grown one bit.
He's 46.
46. Okay, there you go. Hasn't grown one bit. Not one bit. He is the same he will always be because he knows better than everybody as far as he's concerned. Everybody's stupid. I'm smarter. And there was a time in my life when I felt like that, when I was 20. And by the time I turned 30, I realized I didn't know nearly as much as I thought I did. We're all like that at 20. We all know better because we've lived so much. That's how we feel at 20. And I don't pick on 20-year-olds when they say these things. I listen to them and I go, oh, yeah, no, that's a great idea. Hope it works out. Knowing full well that in about 4 or 5 years, they'll come back to me with a different look on their face and a different adjustment and a different attitude. And I've seen it many times. And I know people have seen it in me. And I'm embarrassed by some of it. And they're like, don't be. We were all like that one day. So when I got that piece of advice, I've said that to the same people. I'm so embarrassed. I can't believe I thought. I go, don't be. We all thought that way. And here's the best part. It's wonderful to be able to think like that. It's wonderful to have that innocence because whether you realize it or not at the time, it is an innocence. The world hasn't beaten you to a pulp yet. It will. You will get beaten to your knees. And if you can get back up again and move forward, that's great. But you'll also discover that all the things you thought and held sacred at one point in time and that were so meaningful, most of it is wrong. I shouldn't say most of it, but a great deal of it is wrong or ill-advised or ill thought out because you just didn't have the experience. You didn't have the wisdom. You didn't have the knowledge. And that happens to all of us. Well, no. The vast majority of us. Let's put it that way. Because if it happened to all of us, Pierre Poilievre would be a different human being than he is. Clearly, it's never happened to him. He has not grown. He has not learned. He will not pivot. My God, watching his interview with Rosie Barton, she's saying, but, and he keeps pushing his same thought process forward, not even listening or acknowledging her. But is it a failure on your part? Because no, it's a failure on Mark Carney's part. That doesn't make any goddamn sense. No, it's because of the costly liberal budget. So let me see if I get this correct. People are leaving your party and crossing the floor because they're doing such a terrible job over there. So it's not on you that people have left your party and said because you're a frat boy in a frat house, but it's because of what the other guy is doing that is wrong in your eyes. The man is out to lunch. I mean, I watched that interview with Vashi and with Rosie, and I'm like, this guy is unplugged from reality.
You should see the one with Donna Friesen from Global as well.
Oh, I started to watch it, and I'm like, I'll have to sit down and watch that whole thing because she was a little bit more confrontational.
Oh, yes, definitely. And he did not. Oh, boy. Like, Rosie started, and Vashi was more confrontational.
Yes.
Like she really asked him Rosie asked him 2 or 3 times. She asked him 5 or 6, and then moved over to the economic argument and the carbon tax. You said this inflation. Well, why isn't everything higher?
Yes.
Why isn't it just one? Because she was just nailing him again. And I thought, okay. And then I'm thinking, I saw this other article said, I'm not fighting for the sake of fighting, and I laughed because, girl, yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. You love to fight. That's your whole persona. It's just fighting everything. Fight, swing, haymakers all the time. I'm not fighting for the sake of fighting. Well, you fought for the last 2 and something years, and only to end up in the same spot you were when you started. I mean, you literally fought for the sake of fighting. And I'm saying, why does this guy keep on denying what he's doing as we can all see him doing it? And then I watched the interview about 2 days later after just seeing the article, and it's And I'm watching it and I'm going, oh my God, this is the thing that's related to I'm not fighting for this.
Well, watching him in those interviews, it's like they said you were incapable of pivoting. He couldn't even pivot in the damn interview.
Right.
I'm like, she's still blaming the other guy for his loss. Well, yeah, it's because you suck. The other guy was a better choice, so people went with him.
Yep. And if it's not that bad, it's like the number of times over the last week, in particular, that I've seen some type of tweet or social media post because like, if the NDP hadn't, if this hadn't happened, it's like if in the Adlets were candies and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas, right? It's like, but the NDP did collapse.
Yeah.
But you did spend 2 years bashing Jagmeet Singh as well as Justin Trudeau. But you did, like, if, well, that's a lot of ifs. Like, your boy lost. Your boy lost. Just accept it. Your boy lost. He didn't lose because the NDP collapsed. He didn't lose because, if Justin Trudeau had stayed or they changed the game. He lost because after 2 years of being a leader and dedicating every single working hour to not doing the job of a leader of the official opposition, but running for prime minister, which you keep on saying we can't do in this country, couldn't even present a costing for his platform that made sense. The Conservative Party of Canada, the alleged party of economics, could not present a costing that didn't get him laughed right out of the country.
Right.
And he had 2 years to prepare one.
It's right.
Maybe that's why you lost. You work hard, but at all the wrong things.
Well, he's incapable of acknowledging that somebody else somewhere might have more qualifications than him, number one. Well, amongst a list of things. And I'm going somewhere with this, so bear with me for a second. We saw in an interview just recently where he said, was it an interview or I can't remember if it was a scrum or whatever, where he said that Mark Wiseman being promoted to, or being asked to become the Canada's ambassador to the United States.
Yep.
And he just said, that's just a crony appointment by Mark Carney.
That's scrum.
Yeah. Mark Wiseman. Let me read to you about Mark Wiseman for just a minute, shall I?
Yeah, he's got an idea. Yeah, I have a feeling that there might be a list of accomplishments and achievements there that are worth noting.
Well, this is from Century Initiative, and he's on this team. Or was, I guess he's no longer is. Mark Wiseman is a Canadian investment manager, global business executive, and an industry-leading expert in alternatives and active equity investments. He's a senior advisor and chairman of Canada at Lazard and a senior advisor at Boston Consulting Group. He is also a member of the board of directors of Nova Chemicals. He was formerly senior managing director at BlackRock, global head of active equities, chairman of its alternative business, and chairman of BlackRock's Global Investment Committee. Prior to joining BlackRock in 2016, he was president and CEO of the Canada Pension Plan Investment Board. Mr. Wiseman serves on the board of several nonprofit organizations, including Alpine Canada, the United Way of Greater Toronto, Sinai Health Services, and the Capital Markets Institute, and was previously the chair of the board of directors at Alberta Investment Management Corporation, AIMCO. Mark Wiseman is a leading investment manager and experienced corporate executive. He currently serves as a senior advisor to Boston Consulting Group and Hillhouse Capital. He was formerly senior managing director at BlackRock, global head of active activities, chairman of its alternative. But anyway, it just goes on to say he serves on the board of several nonprofits. His pedigree is long and distinguished. And the fact that Pierre Poilievre wants to beat down this man is just ridiculous. His education, he has a BA from Queen's University, an MBA and LLB from the University of Toronto, and an LLM from Yale University. And he did all of that before he turned 30.
Okay.
But he's a crony appointment.
Yeah.
This man is giving up millions upon millions of dollars because Mark Carney asked him to serve the country. His friend Mark Carney said, hey, Can you do this for me? He's like, yeah, no problem. I'll step up. I mean, he's already rich, so
Right.
he's okay. But he literally gave up millions of dollars in service of Canada. But no, according to Poilievre, it's a crony appointment. And Poilievre, his accomplishments in life again are what?
Mm-hmm.
Being an MP for 21 years?
Yep.
Not a single piece of legislation that was beneficial to any Canadian? His Fair Elections Act was so unfair, it destroyed his party.
Yep. It didn't survive the courts, and what was left, what remained was very casually removed.
Yeah.
By the following government.
Doesn't he have a thing with Elections Canada too? That
Oh yeah, that compliance agreement.
Yes. Yeah. How many MPs have had a compliance agreement with Election Canada again in our history?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know of any. How many prime ministers have been held in contempt of Parliament in our history? Oh, right, one.
How many prime ministers in the entirety of the Commonwealth have been held in contempt?
One.
Yeah. Guess who?
Stephen Harper.
His former boss. Aww. I, as you know, and as the kids who've been following the show know, I have a big problem with that party in its entirety. The origin story. Let's remember, right? This party was born from an act of betrayal.
Correct.
Number one. Hello, Peter McKay. Hope you're having a wonderful Boxing Day. Borrow a neighbor's dog to go for a walk. Got some cameras rolling while you're doing that? Eh? So, first of all, out of an act of betrayal, I will never do this. I will never do this. Okay, let's put our trust in you. Look, watch me do it. Psych. Right? And then we get Harper, loses his first election to Paul Martin. Second election, gee, we can't lose that. We can't have that happen again. Let's do this thing called in and out. And then they get caught. And then they deny for about 5 years. Oh, no, we never did anything wrong. Never did anything wrong. Oops. Harper, the 2000, there's another election coming. Ooh, this story is coming to a head again as the election is coming. Oh, you know what we will do? We will settle. After 5 years of saying, no, we're pure like the driven snow. Say, yeah, we did it. You got us. Like this. And just settle that quietly to make it go away. Also to stop 4 of our own from going to jail, including 2 senators. And then, wait a minute. When we did that funny accounting stuff on money we didn't spend, and then we sent to Elections Canada, and then we got that reimbursement for expenses that we didn't actually expend because we got more than 15% of the vote in that riding. Yeah, we're keeping that money. We can't do that, but we really want to keep that. No, we can't. But we pled guilty. We pled guilty. So can we keep the money? No, we can't. Okay, fine. We'll give back the. They pled guilty, and they still tried to keep the money. This is a party that has corruption and criminality in its DNA.
Well, and it's not going to change. It's not going to go away. They are not the Conservative Party. And, they pulled the wool over a lot of people's eyes by saying the Conservative Party of Canada, because people who were true blue Conservatives,
right,
ended up voting for this cadre of Reform Party stalwarts, because that's all they are.
Yeah.
They are not conservatives.
Yeah.
They like to say they are. They'll say they're social conservatives, and I don't like the sound of that at all. I don't believe that has any foothold, and it should have a foothold in politics. Fiscal conservatism, fine. Do I agree with a lot of their policies? No. But it's fine to be part of the political spectrum. But social conservatism, that's kind of eliminating vast swaths of the greater Canadian citizenry, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Preston Harper is kind of I did not see that coming.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even look what they did to Preston Manning.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way they got rid of him.
Yeah.
I'm reading Ripper. I'm at the point in the book where Pierre Poilievre, he's talking about all the things that Pierre Poilievre did to push Preston Manning out.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know that today, though, however, because whenever they have these tribute dinners, and it's like,
Hmm.
oh, Preston. Yeah, but they're doing Preston now. But if we remember several years ago, the same people that are doing Preston were the ones plunging the knife in the back.
Oh, yeah. And they'll do it again and again and again and again because they don't care.
Mhm.
They will step on anybody and stab anybody in the back they have to get up to the top of that ladder. That is who they are. It's who they are. These are not good people. I keep saying this over and over again. And folks just don't want to listen to what I have to say. They don't care that I have proof to back up these claims. We can show you the voting record of Pierre Poilievre and how he has voted against every single policy brought forth that would help the marginalized and underprivileged, including the working class and middle class. Every program that would help, he has voted against. Every single one. He voted against a school lunch program. Well, parents should feed their children. Yeah, but you voted against increasing their wages. So how are they supposed to feed their children when you vote against increasing their wages?
Right?
And then you say, well, because of the Liberal government, they've brought up the price of groceries. Show me how that's possible. If you can show me how the Liberal government is responsible for greedy grocery companies who increase their margin each quarter, who, by the way, your puppet master, Jenny Byrne, is a lobbyist for the largest grocer in the nation, it just goes on and on and on.
I know, that's what I mean. You just pull the thread and it just keeps unraveling and unraveling and unraveling. And then when you see it unravel and you see the mountain of evidence and links and stuff, and you're sitting there like, why are you even attempting to take this position?
Well, here from Bucky, this one is perfect. I blow my stack whenever the cons point out poverty measures like lines at food banks, but oppose every affordability measure in the House. And that's what they do.
To address
every single time.
Yeah, but that's conservatives point to a problem. Oh my God, their food banks, they're terrible. Here's who you should blame for them. Let me point you in that direction. Let me put a gun in your hand. Now fire. It's like do my dirty work for me.
We'd like to thank all the Canadians volunteering at food banks during the holidays.
I know. I saw that. Oh, that one too. That one too set me off yesterday. Well,
Really?
we watched it together. It set me up yesterday, like this, and like 2 minutes before, it's like, it's like, Merry Christmas to everyone. Oh my God, these terrible liberals with food banks, blah, 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 blah. Like, thank you to everybody serving food banks. It's like, the thing that you deplore exists. You thank people for working for, but you could not do a damn thing to support. However, you do love showing up at one and doing your press conferences there, though. Food banks are good as a backdrop.
And he uses them as that all the time. And you know, you know my feeling on food banks. It's a failure of society. It's a failure of politics. They should not exist. Not in Canada, not ever. I'm not saying not in 2025. I'm saying not ever. We have the money, the knowledge, and the know-how to make this go away. We choose not to because poverty is a business. Poverty is a business.
Mm-hmm.
On that note, I have a very anxious puppy dog here at my lap who really needs to go out because it is now pushing 8:30 and we usually go out at 4:30. So she's held her business for 4 hours. So I gotta get her out.
Okie dokie. Hello, sweet Lola.
I will see everybody. Apologies, I couldn't make it at 4 yesterday. Just the day got away from me, and it's Christmas Day, you know. But I'm gonna try and have something up for 6. I don't know if I can go live at 6. I might have to record earlier because I got a few things on the go today. But either way, you'll have something at 6 o'clock, whether it's live or pre-recorded. But until such time as we see each other again, you take care. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I'll see you soon. Bye.
Well, it's lovely to spend time with you, my friend. There we go. Mr. Grizzly is spending some time with us this morning. I'm going through the chat here a little bit. I'm quite behind on the chat because fortunately I have the other computer on the side here, so I can scroll down and see what you were doing. So I was listening to Mr. Grizzly and stuff like that. I was also trying to check out some of the chat, and I saw that you guys some people started the day talking about chocolate eggnog. And all of a sudden, I'm wondering how come I've never heard about this concept and where has it been all my life? And if you have any, please, can you pour some right here? Because I would love to try that. That sounds like that's something that's really right up my alley. Some lovely chocolate eggnog. Yum, 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 yum. Also, big thank you to my Kit, my dog Zargoth, for that lovely in-chat donation and that beautiful word that you sent us. It's nice to have you both together today. Love to hear the political banter between you both. Thank you so much for the donation and the very kind compliment. I'm glad you enjoy it. I also enjoy my Mr. Grizzly times. It's a lot of fun, I have to say here. Yeah, I'm just looking through some of your chat comments, but like I said, I'm really behind because I'm still seeing some comments about Greenland. And we talked about that quite a while ago. There was a good comment about straws because we were talking about them a little earlier, and Kit Saucy made a great comment here. I will say we have to remember plastic straws for people in the disabled community. Stiff straws are dangerous and reusable, can breed bacteria. Polyev is an idiot, but plastic straws are valid. Yes, indeed. There is a case to be made for those as well. With Kit Tabby G piping in that silicone straws are reusable. I actually have some of those myself. I always have one in my satchel when I'm traveling in case I need to use it. So, but yes, definitely Kit PNC Bio here adds plastic straws should be available for the disabled. Disabled people are not terribly able to clean their own straws. Absolutely. Kit Saucy noting that silicone straws are also too flimsy and someone who can't wash their dishes wouldn't be able to use them. That is indeed true. Yep, I can see that. Kit PNC Bio adds, for the number of disabled people being served, they could just have plastic straws behind the counter and hand them out when disabled people ask for them. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's like I said, it doesn't have to be eliminated 100% if there is a valid case and a valid use for them. But even if we did that, kept behind the counter some plastic straws for the people who absolutely do need them, because we could still get rid of a lot of excess single-use plastics and still keep plastic along enough for people who need them. And I just saw a comment go through the chat right now about paper straws. Some of them even have gluten, which is something I've learned very recently because depending if it's gluten from what, with my allergy, I would be allergic. So I would break out into hives and could have an anaphylactic shock. So yeah, you do need to have options. It's just whether or not the plastic one should be the default option. My dog Sargoth are going, it feels like the cardboard ones are getting better now. Yes, they are. They are, because I remember at the beginning, they would get flimsy at some point. And now anytime I get a paper straw, I am able to get through my entire meal. And, and I tend to eat, I'm not a particularly fast eater. So I'm able to get through my entire meal and finish the drink before the straw gets so soggy that it's not really particularly usable, or that it starts to degrade in some way. So yeah, the quality is indeed getting better. But yeah, I'm absolutely. You have to. There is a good reason to keep some. Absolutely, there's no doubt about that. So, Kit Linda M's talking about plant-based flexible straws. I've never heard of those, actually. Yeah, never heard of those. But again, that's humans. We are incredibly creative. And as Mr. Grizzly pointed out, necessity is the mother of invention, right? And we're certainly able to invent a lot of things. We don't have to be bound to the plastic straws as the default for everyone, right? We can, like I said, if you think the problem through this and realize that there is a need for some, then you can, at some point, you can calculate what that need is and then have production and distribution in consequence. You just have to put some thought into it and be deliberate and purposeful, and we don't have to go to absolutism, right? We can accommodate, we can be reasonable, we can acknowledge, hey, that's a valid point, and then just adjust accordingly. Just be radically reasonable. Kit PNC Bio says, I buy bendy straws. I like bendy straws, but that's because I'm a big kid. Kit Linda says, I was looking at straws made from straw. Really? Is that a thing? I guess I could see how you could do that. But I've never heard of those. All right, let's see what else do we have here in the chat for today here. Let's see. Okay, I'm at the point now where we were talking about Alberta and oil here. And also some stuff with Greenland again in the chat here. I think it was Kit Lane saying, talking about some stuff with regard to Greenland, given that we're all being threatened simultaneously. I saw this post yesterday. It's like Newfoundland and Labrador and Greenland. Think, and it's like, and I'm thinking, you know what? I'm sure. I am sure that there are certain people in Greenland that would be very, very flattered that we would like to say, you know what? Hey, join us. We'll help you. But I have the feeling that the Greenlanders and the good people of Denmark, don't worry, we've got this. I don't think we will be needing that. But thank you very much. It's very kind of you to offer. But Elaine saying here, there's a lot of people talking about, it might be some time for some joint naval exercises, for example, between Canada and Greenland, just to, send a little message. Canada, Greenland, and Denmark, maybe we should get together and, talk a little, have send a little message, a little shot across the bow. That, oh, you're talking about that. Well, look at us organizing all of a sudden. Amazing. It's like, could imagine the phone call. I was like, Mr. President, and here's the thing. The guy that they named, this Landry guy from Louisiana, again, I'm learning more about it. Saw a little clip of an interview with him. First of all, listen, I know we are not supposed to look shame, okay? And I'm not going to look shame, although it might sound like that. I've seen this guy in an interview, and if you would think of the type of person that would be sent as a quote-unquote envoy with the objective of taking land that belongs to another nation, land that already has a very, very proud people on it, and saying, yeah, I'm just going to acquire that for us. You would think of someone who is maybe a little haughty, maybe a little bit of a superior attitude, someone with, that expression, oh Lord, please give me the confidence of a person who, one of those. Yeah, all the vibes. The United States, let me put it this way, didn't send their best if they wanted to get that accomplished. And this laundry guy posted this tweet. I'm so honored to have this volunteer position, and so happy that I won't have to quit my job as governor of Louisiana in order to accomplish that. So apparently, this guy is going to just basically take Greenland and make it part of the United States. And that's a part-time volunteer job. I'm really? Territorial imperialism is a part-time volunteer job now. And of course, if we look at the wonderful state of Louisiana, which frequently ranks 50th, 47th, 48th on many, many, many metrics that you should really be striving to be first, second, and third at. The guy whose state ranks near the bottom on a lot of metrics apparently believes he has the luxury of spending part of his time trying to seize control of Greenland and making it part of the United States, rather than maybe lifting Louisiana from wherever it is near the bottom of the scale on education or infant mortality rates, or mothers surviving pregnancies, for example, healthcare. No, he doesn't need to dedicate the 100% of his time to maybe lifting his state from 48th in the rankings to 42nd. He's just going to go and acquire Greenland. I'm so sorry, man. Wow. That again, is just not serious on its face. So yeah, maybe some joint exercises wouldn't necessarily be a bad idea. Send a little message. I was hearing something the other day that it was because the United States is behaving like a bully, particularly with us, Canada. The bully often relies on just they are so big and they do look so powerful that all you have to do is mere threat. Tomorrow I'm going to come and beat you up for your lunch money. Oh, well, I don't want to get beaten up now. Tomorrow, here, take some lunch money now. Don't beat me up tomorrow. Is essentially what the United States was hoping their strategy was. And the United States looked at Canada and says, yeah, 51st state. And I guess they expected us to just go, oh, no, please don't. 50 states, whatever you want, what do you want? We'll give you everything. And just leave us alone. And we didn't exactly do that. We kind of flipped the script. I think Canada and China were the only two countries in the world to say, oh yeah, here are some retaliatory tariffs. Eat this. 51st state? Yeah, I don't think so, buddy. And they did not expect the level of pushback that they got, which is why that they're doing stuff in Nigeria, bombing mosques, and seizing tankers off the coast of Venezuela. And of course, nobody in the media apparently noting the irony. Oh yes, those other boats they bombed, exploded, blew up, killed people. Or everybody's turning like, why the hell are you doing that? You board those boats. Oh, but there's an oil tanker. Oh, they didn't blow those ones to smithereens. Those ones they were able to board, though, right? This is so. If you could board tanker, you could have boarded those smaller boats. You didn't have to kill people. Clearly, you just did that because you wanted to. It's so yeah, we just said no. You got the distillers in the United States again that are turning around saying, we demand that you put our liquor back on your shelves. That's very cute. That's very cute. Your demand is noted. But yeah, they got pushback, and they got pushback that they did not expect. And I'm sure that there's probably a lot of them that are all confused. It's like, well, we threatened them. Why didn't they fold and cave? They were supposed to fold and cave. It's Canada. They were supposed to fold and cave. They're nothing. Yeah. You picked the wrong one. You picked the wrong one. And you picked the wrong one in a lot of ways. Because all of a sudden, we got this military pact with Europe. Yeah, we are spending more on defense and infrastructure for all of that kind of stuff. The part that we're not telling you Americans, however, is we're doing it because we might need to use it against you one day. After what you've been saying. Right? We're finding other outlets for our critical minerals and our steel and our aluminum and probably soon potash. Now, the United States clearly sees Canada standing up, and it's not going to be that easy. So, I'm sure that a lot of the stuff that's going on with Venezuela is some grand design to think, okay, well, you know what? Canada won't help us. Well, we'll just take all of that oil from Venezuela, which is similar quality and grade oil that we have over here that would work in those refineries. In the United States, that processes our oil, but I'm guessing the goal here is to decimate us by stealing the oil from Venezuela and replacing the oil that they get from Canada to go through the refineries with the oil from Venezuela, thus I guess hoping that we would have no place to sell ours, and given that we do make a lot of money selling the oil, that will finish them off. And they're doing the same thing with potash. By the way, Trump threatened tariffs on fertilizers, but then he also went and made a little deal with Belarus. Belarus, vassal state of Russia, for fertilizer and potash from there. Venezuela is Canada. I think has one of the top 5 countries in terms of oil reserves in the world. But Venezuela, I think, has oil reserves that are larger than ours. And while Canada's then, I think, the number 2 supplier or number 1 supplier in the world of potash, Belarus is like literally behind us in the rankings. So it looks like they're trying to find some alternative sourcing as well. Now, I don't know if they're doing that because they fear that we're just going to cut them off before they have the chance to find that sourcing, or if they are doing it preemptively as a pressure tactic. Oh, yeah? Well, there you go. Now, Canada, you have no place to sell your oil, and you have no place to sell your potash because we don't need it anymore. And trying to hurt us that way. Now, if that thing with Belarus is going is going to go forth. That could probably happen with a certain amount of speed because, dictators don't need some months of consultation and process to make things happen. Taking over Venezuela in order to get the oil might take a significantly longer amount of time, if at all possible. So the oil might not be displaced as fast as they would like, but there could be a move to try to displace this on potash relatively quickly. So fortunately, we're in the process of signing deals with a whole bunch of other nations, and I assume that there too they need to grow stuff. So perhaps we will be able to readjust if the United States is trying to hamper us in that way. Well, we'll see. But they are making moves, right? And that's the thing is, if the United States made the mistake of assuming that we would remain static as they would do all these things to us, they miscalculated. But we also have to factor in that if we do some things to respond or to defend or show up or to divert from what the United States is doing in order to preserve ourselves, that the United States may react to that as well and do something that then forces us to make an adjustment and a reaction. It becomes a never-ending game at some point, or has the potential to be a never-ending game at some point. But this is happening. This is happening. Kitlan Dam says Belarus can only replace a fraction of the potash we supply to the United States. And that's quite possible because I'm sure that Belarus already has some contracts for whatever it is that they have that's being distributed. And it's not like Belarus is going to cancel all of our contracts and say, okay, all of this is going to the United States now as well. Right? I like this saucy seat which says, soft power does not mean we are soft as a nation. You have been paying attention. You have been paying attention. So yeah, but I would not be surprised, Kids and Cubs, if your points about perhaps having some joint military exercises and that type of stuff could be in our future. I think that probably is a solid expectation. I have no reason to doubt that could definitely be a possibility. Start showing that we are organizing, even militarily, even on defense. Just send a message, little deterrent, let them know it's not going to be as easy as they hoped it was going to be. But yeah, it's really something. All right, I have a couple of things I wanted to share with you today that I spotted that could be interesting. I'm talking a lot about the global economy, and this year, a Canadian who made us particularly proud, Peter Howitt, who's an economist, who was one of the 3 Nobel laureates this year in economics, was covered by the Financial Post. And on Christmas Eve, there is an article by, let's give proper attribution, Jordan Gowling, that features him and some thoughts that he has about the economy. And I thought I would read it to you because, hey, how many times do we get to hear from a Nobel winner, right? Economist Peter Howitt's work on the theory of sustained growth through creative destruction is more relevant now than ever because monopolies and the rise of artificial intelligence are presenting significant challenges for economies and governments in the years ahead. So much so that the Canadian-born emeritus professor of economics at Brown University was awarded the Nobel Prize in Economic Sciences this year, with 2 others for their work on theories related to innovation and economic growth. Howitt said AI will be a significant disrupting force that our institutions remain unprepared for. It represents a powerful, innovative technology, but he said its destructive effects, such as the loss of jobs, must be reckoned with by governments. In addition, the growing number of powerful monopolies, especially in the tech sector, will continue to hinder innovators or hinder innovation and progress in their respective markets. Here's how Towett talks about what he's expecting to happen in 2026 and beyond as what he called, quote, dark clouds gather over the global economy. Financial Post asks, you warned of dark clouds ahead when you spoke during a press conference following your Nobel Prize win. What did you mean by that? I see the world progressing very much technologically, but not politically and institutionally. We don't seem to be prepared for the changes ahead, which are going to require openness, a willingness to accept different ideas, a willingness to have cooperation between governments, academia, business, looking for ways to channel this new potentially very destructive as well as creative technology in ways that are less destructive and being able to spread the benefits of it as broadly as possible. What would that path look like? Where could we minimize what you would call the damage from this new technology? And what do you think needs to happen in terms of policy? How it responds. We need to reestablish international trade. We need to reestablish the mobility and freedom of speech of academics. Best solutions to important technological problems come with governments taking a lead role. And in this case, what we're really looking for are ways to allow artificial intelligence to make us more productive. And at the same time, to make sure that we're creating meaningful and important jobs for a lot of people whose skills may be rendered redundant by new technologies. Financial Post then asks, how do you think the Canadian economy fares when it comes to creative destruction? Our governments often face pressures to protect certain industries through regulation and subsidies, but is that just delaying the inevitable decline? He responds, Canada has been an innovative country, and it's more difficult to keep that going now that our international market seems to have shrunk a little because of the protectionism in the United States. Normally speaking, I'm not in favor of protecting domestic industries against foreign trade. But in this case, when you have a particular sudden change in the international environment, it's causing a lot of losses and a lot of jobs to be destroyed domestically. And we don't know how long it's going to last. So it does make sense to help companies survive at least the next few years until we see what's ahead of us. The Financial Post then asks, more than ever today, a few companies tend to control a lot of market share in many industries. It's the case here in Canada, but also in the US. Why do you think that is? It's partly because there are tremendous economies of scale in some of the high-tech industries, but it's also because regulatory policy, patent policy, and antitrust policy have not kept up with the times. I know it sounds a little paradoxical, but it's having the effect of putting a chill on innovation, and not innovation by the big companies themselves. They remain innovative. But in order to get the best of people's creative potential, you have to allow for the possibility that many other firms could succeed in their innovations. One of the things that happens with creative destruction is young firms come up and they displace incumbents, but then they try themselves to become the incumbents and they don't want to be displaced. And so they put up all sorts of barriers against innovations by upstarts that are very much like they used to be. Large firms can set up huge patent tickets, for example, by buying up patents all over the place, even if they're not particularly important for their own operations, so that anybody that tries to challenge them can be hit with a lawsuit for patent violation. It becomes very difficult to compete against one of these large firms if you know you're going to have these tremendous legal expenses trying to defend yourself against thousands of patents, and they can engage in preemptive mergers instead of trying to compete against you. They'll buy you out. Financial Post asks, have governments dropped the ball on regulating and enforcing competition law here in Canada or antitrust law in the United States? There are examples such as Google Incorporated in the US, but many of these rulings don't have a lot of teeth. And he responds, there was a recent suit against Meta. There seemed to be a smoking gun there. There were emails from Mark Zuckerberg saying it'd be too much to try to compete against Instagram. They should buy them up, and that's what they did. But the problem is that the antitrust law and the antitrust policies aren't geared for the 21st century. They're aimed at preventing highly concentrated industries from harming consumers through artificially high prices. But that's not where the damage is coming from. The damage is coming from suppressing innovations by competitors. It requires a whole refocusing of antitrust policy. What do governments have to do to be best placed to not hinder creative destruction? A good role model is the DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency in the United States, which has been there through the development of computer technologies for the 20th century. And this is going on through the 21st. They're the ones that have played a coordinating role. They help to put together the protocols for the internet. Research and development are worthy of being subsidized by governments, but because there are a lot of external benefits to a firm's innovation, it's not just that the firm benefits, but the whole stock of knowledge on which other firms will be basing their investigations is increased. There's a benefit to all of society when we become more innovative, and it has to be done in a creative way, in a way that is coordinated, and only the federal government is in a position to be doing that coordination. The Financial Post asks, do you foresee any major innovations next year apart from AI? There are innovations taking place every minute of every day on a smaller scale in a diverse economy like Canada, let alone one the size of the United States. They all have to be fostered through the right degree of protection of intellectual rights. Canada does have good institutions to foster that kind of thing, and that the ability of academics, for example, to go back and forth between academia and business is a great benefit both to their universities and to the businesses they help. Getting this kind of practical experience and seeing what happens, not just in one sector of the economy, but in many other ones, if you consult widely, can really enrich the research of people in engineering or business economics. And Canada is doing a good job with that. Next question. How much will the current global trade environment hinder our innovation progress worldwide? He replies, it's going to hinder it quite a bit. Problem is if you're coming up with a new product in a small country like Canada, you need to have a prospective payback in the event of success. And that payback is in the form of profits that you can make by selling the product to a large market. The larger the market, the bigger the payoff, the bigger the incentive, and the more innovation you have. What happens when international trade is cut off? You're shrinking that market so that firms that are engaged in R&D have to take one point of view. They have to be hoping that this is a temporary thing, and we don't know how temporary it's going to be. I'm hopeful that it is, but I don't know how much of a chilling effect it's had so far. But if this environment continues for another few years, it's definitely going to have very chilling effect on innovation in Canada. What are the implications of creative destruction with artificial intelligence? The answer to that is that we don't really know yet. I'm very impressed with ChatGPT and some other large language models. As we go through those things in segments, it's going to make many of us much more productive. There's still a long way to go, but I can see an amazing future. But what worries me a little bit is it's going to make some people very productive, and it's going to create what we call in economics, quote, superstar markets all over the place. That is, markets where the very best people or people who are perceived to be the best are going to be made so much more productive than they can service the whole market and leave no room for their competitors. That means we're going to have to be creating new jobs. When agriculture 150 years ago required half the population working in it just to feed us, if you told people then that in 150 years it would only take 1 or 2% of the population, they would have wondered what the others are going to do. Artificial intelligence is going the same way in a lot of different areas in the service economy, which is basically what we are nowadays. But it's all happening in a few years. It's not spread out over 150 years. We don't have that long to wait for these new jobs. That's where some of the coordinating role must be played by government. But there you go, hearing from Mr. Peter Howitt, Nobel winner, on what it is that we need to do with regard to this oncoming revolution. And so, better antitrust laws, better patent protection, better ability for academics to be able to comment freely on these subjects, and a lot of coordination required to ensure that given the number of jobs that are going to be eliminated, that there is going to be new jobs and new sectors created, and that we're going to have the education system to prepare people for that, the skills and retraining programs to help people orient themselves towards that for people who are already in their careers and are going to be disrupted, coordinating function in terms of all the ways, all the legal architecture that is required for this type of new system, and all the new types of dealings and types of business opportunities, coordination opportunities, collaboration opportunities that would arise from that to be well circumscribed, so that we have so that the borders of the sandbox in which that we are playing in are very well defined. So we need to prepare for that. So yeah, I thought that was a very good interview, and I had been I like reading anything that has Nobel winners in there talking about their field of expertise, because you learn so much, and that they really got their finger on the pulse and on the cutting edge of whatever sector they are involved in. It's good to keep abreast. When we were talking a little earlier about the relationship between Canada and the United States, and the fact that we didn't fold or quiver or quake or panic, we just remained calm and developed a plan in turn, in order to respond, and then just started executing quietly and confidently and non-boastfully on that plan. There was an article today, I think it is a Canadian Press article by Kelly Geraldine Malone. I think it might be more of an opinion piece than the story, but it says here, it's called "The Year That the Shoe Dropped, How the Canada-US Relationship Changed in 2025. The people anxiously sipping hot chocolate in the Canadian Embassy in Washington on a cold night in January almost a year ago couldn't have predicted the roller coaster of trade provocations and bilateral blow-ups the next 12 months would bring. In hindsight, that unusually chilly Washington evening foreshadowed how the Canada-US relationship would soon freeze over. Trump's tariff threats and his talk of annexing Canada had already rattled Canadian politics over the preceding weeks. A rushed trip to Mar-a-Lago in early November 2024 failed to mend former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's already rocky relationship with the incoming US president. On January 20th, the day of his second inauguration, Trump returned to the Oval Office to announce his, quote, America First trade policy. Just weeks later, he announced sweeping tariffs on Canadian imports. By early February, it was obvious to everyone the relationship Canadians thought they had with their closest neighbor was over. Former Foreign Affairs Minister Mélanie Joly called on, quote, every single political leader across the board, across the country, to stand united, because now more than ever, we need to make sure that we put country first. It was all happening amid a swift domestic political upheaval that saw Trudeau weakened by poor polling and internal Liberal Party dissent, announce on January 6th he would resign as Prime Minister as soon as a new Liberal leader was chosen. Mark Carney became party leader in March and almost immediately launched an election, forming a minority government following a campaign that centered on Trump. Trump's tariffs, which don't apply to goods compliant with Canada-US-Mexico agreement on trade known as CUSMA, hit Canada in March. They were boosted to 35% in August as Trump complained about Canada's retaliatory tariffs and supply management in the dairy sector, and claimed Ottawa hadn't done enough to stop the very modest cross-border flow of fentanyl. The president's separate Section 232 tariffs on specific industries such as steel, aluminium, automobiles, copper, and lumber have also hit Canada hard. Trump took his trade war global in April with the so-called reciprocal tariffs on nearly every nation. World leaders raced to respond. Some signed frameworks of trade agreements that promised massive investments in the United States in exchange for slightly lower tariffs. The speed and scale of Trump's trade war with the world caught everyone off guard, said Fen Osler-Hampson, a professor of international affairs at Carleton University in Ottawa and co-chair of the expert group on Canada-US relations. While the president toned down his annexation talk after Carney's election, every deadline for a trade deal since has come and gone with no clear progress. Talks remain stalled. That's, I would hasten to add, no fault of Carney's, Hampson said, and I want to highlight that because Pierre Poilievre keeps on going all over TV and every media he can find, saying, Mark Carney promised he would have a deal by July 21st. Mark Carney promised then he would have a deal by August 26th, or whatever date he hasn't promised. Let's not forget that the July 21st date was chosen in function of the fact that Donald Trump was on the record saying that he wanted 90 deals in 90 days. That initial July 21st date had something to do with that timing. We are way beyond 90 days. Trump has 0 deals. Again, Trump has 0 deals after way more than 90 days. So what is more likely, the fact that we don't have a deal yet has to do with the fact that Mark Carney missed the deadline, or the fact that Donald Trump can't hit a deadline? That's the part Tepelier keeps on strategically omitting from his comments. Yes, it is true that Mark Carney said July 21st. Absolutely. But why did he pick that date? What was the choice of that date based on? And then he picked another date, and it didn't happen. And then Mark Carney stopped picking dates because we're relying on Trump to actually deliver by the date. Well, it's not a sound policy. And Trump, since then, has walked away from the table not once but twice. It's not our fault we don't have a deal. It's like Mike Carney said in one of his year-end interviews, the reason we don't have a deal is because there is no deal, acceptable deal, on the table yet. There are two parties to this negotiation. Both have to be at the table in good faith. We now know that one of them is not. So, yeah, as Hampson says, Van Osler Hampson, I would hasten to add, it's no fault of Carney's that the talks are stalled. Carney suspended Canada's digital sales tax, tightened border security, dropped most retaliatory tariffs, and boosted defense spending in an unsuccessful effort to get Trump to drop his tariffs. Let's put a little asterisk on that. Not only was that an effort, hopefully, to get Trump to drop his tariffs, but none of these things here are things that we probably would not have done anyway. And none of these things are not things that we do not have to do now. Things that we probably would not have already chosen. These are not things that, we wouldn't have already chosen to do for ourselves, given the changing situation in the United States. So yes, we are tightening border security, but perhaps because Trump is going to make the United States so uninhabitable that a lot of Americans will want to flee. Maybe that's why we need to do it, and not so much to please Trump. Drop the retaliatory tariffs. Mark Carney did explain that, yes, those retaliatory tariffs were working for a while, but if this is going to be a protracted trade war, we cannot win that with the United States on a dollar-for-dollar counter tariff plan, because their economy is so much larger. Yes, and counter tariffs, just like tariffs in the United States, are paid to Americans, while counter tariffs are paid by Canadians. So there's only so much we can do to respond or be nimble to what the United States is doing by raising prices on ourselves. It's a limited time strategy, but it's not a protracted trade war strategy. So Mark Carney got us out of that. It's boosted defense spending. Again, yeah, Trump wanted all of us to get to 5%, but do we really think that we're getting to that 5% strictly to help Trump? Or maybe we're shoring ourselves up in case someone gets a little too trigger happy south of us. These are things that we now need to do, regardless of Trump wanting us to do them or not. Because we need to focus a little more inward, and maybe a little self-preservation is needed at this time. Until recently, however, a swift breakthrough on tariffs seemed impossible. Carney and Trump complimented each other and bantered for the news crew during two cordial meetings at the White House. Media reports suggested in mid-October some sort of framework for deal easing tariffs was in the works. And that's something that has stalled, but Prime Minister Mark Carney, and in particular, soon-to-be former Ambassador Kirsten Hillman, made a point of stating in her year-end interview that all those deals, that part that looked like it was soon ready to go before Doug Ford ran his ad, effective ad, but probably not the most judicious thing to have done. My words are escaping me. Sorry, lost my train of thought on that argument there that I was going to make. Oh yes, Kirsten Hillman, stating that those negotiations, even though they stalled, all the terms that had been agreed to and where they are, that is still there. When they are ready, when the United States decides it's ready to come back to the table, you can pick up on that one where it was. You won't have to start the wheel. We won't have to build the wheel over from scratch again. We won't have to reinvent the wheel. So, just that work, just because it got stalled, doesn't necessarily mean it was for naught. Right? It can be picked up, and you can run with that ball later. It all went sideways in October when Trump allegedly offended, by an Ontario-sponsored TV ad quoting former U.S. President Ronald Reagan criticizing tariffs that shut down trade talks. Canada and the United States have had disagreements through their shared history, Hampson said, but in the decades after the introduction of the North American Free Trade Agreement, most observers expected the continent to grow more integrated. Quote, "That's no longer true," he said. Quote, "We increasingly look like three countries going our own separate ways." For many Canadians, the past year has felt like an existential crisis, an extended numbing assault on this country's sovereignty and stability. In the United States, the shattered relationship with Canada has had less of an impact. Americans who support the Trump administration see it doing what they voted for, even if it means Canada getting caught up as collateral damage. For Trump's opponents, the president's actions have driven a wave of alarming change that they struggle to keep up with. And Canadian concerns aren't necessarily their priority. Matthew Lebo, a political science professor at Western University in London, Ontario, said the Trump administration has crossed any number of red lines. Quote, "Democratic decline in many, many directions, the ignoring of constitutional limits on presidential power, the ignoring of Congress's role in setting policy, especially about tariffs," he said. Trump's administration launched a massive deportation campaign that is filling Americans' news feeds with images of masked and armed ICE officers descending on peaceful neighborhoods. It has deployed National Guard troops to Washington and other Democratic strongholds despite objections of governors. Trump has targeted law firms and universities to bring them in line with his agenda. His administration dismantled the U.S. Agency for International Development and is working to do the same to the Department of Education. Thousands of U.S. government employees have been laid off. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy has pursued a radical policy on vaccines that has alarmed doctors and researchers. I think recently he recommended, that a vaccination for hepatitis B that is given to young children as soon as soon after they are born. That the United States they'll adopt a new policy, and then that is not needed anymore. Not needed anymore. There are almost no children in the United States these days who develop hepatitis B very young. But I guess they decided that that's a luxury they no longer want. So yeah. Oh boy. U.S. foreign policy on everything from Russia's war in Ukraine to missile strikes targeting alleged drug boats near Venezuela seems to change on an almost weekly basis. The year also saw the longest government shutdown in the United States' history. Alistair Roberts, a professor of public policy at the University of Massachusetts Amherst, described the past year as, quote, "a partial revolution." Quote, "It's an attempt to change the regime, but it's limited by the fact that the courts may still check what Trump's doing," Roberts said, "and he hasn't got the legislative changes necessary to kind of entrench the new way of working." Despite the rapid collapse of norms in Washington, Roberts said he does not believe American democracy is in crisis. "There is dysfunction in the nation's capital," he said, "but that does not mean the entire system is malfunctioning." Roberts pointed to the November elections when millions of Americans voted without controversy and delivered an electoral rebuke to many Republican candidates. Roberts also pointed out the state of U.S. federal politics has forced Canada to accept an uncomfortable truth. The way the United States perceives its neighbor to the north has shifted fundamentally. Quote, "This is the moment that Canada realized that the game has changed," he said. "The game has been changing for a few years, but this is the year that the shoe dropped." There you go. And that's Kelly Geraldine Malone from the Canadian Press. One other one I wanted to read for you today, also having to do with trade. This is Lawrence Herman to a special piece for the Globe and Mail. Lawrence Herman, by the way, is an international lawyer with Herman and Associates and a senior fellow of the C.D. Howe Institute in Toronto. And he makes a bold declaration here. The era of North American free trade is over. That point was hammered home by the report on the United States-Mexico-Canada agreement sent to Congress last week by the U.S. Trade Representative, a prelude to the formal review of the deal set to start in July, but which could get underway earlier. While it can be read several ways, the report and USTR, that's United States Trade Representative Jameson Greer's oral comments, reveal that even if the USMCA continues to tick over during the 2026 review, there will be tough demands by the Trump team for concessions from Canada and Mexico, backstopped by the threat of U.S. withdrawal from the agreement on a 6 months notice. In the background is the fact that President Donald Trump has shown hostility to the very concept of North America free trade from the outset, saying a few weeks ago that the U.S. will, quote, either let the trade agreement expire or work out another deal with Mexico and Canada. Yeah, you have to hope that we're going to be willing to work out another deal with you. Sure. A few days later, Mr. Greer said the administration is considering breaking up the three-way free trade agreement and moving towards separate deals instead. The message from all of this is that Canada should be planning for a future with substantially reworked trading arrangements with the United States, very different from the existing three-way agreement, even if USMCA survives in some form. While the talks proceed with Canada and Mexico on separate tracks, the agreement will be kept in place, sputtering along, but with the hovering threat of U.S. withdrawal. There are bad and less bad elements in this scenario. The bad elements are that duties on Canadian auto, steel, aluminium, copper, and other goods will not change while talks continue. The not so bad elements would be that USMCA compliant goods like auto parts and some other products will be able to enter the US duty free while the two governments try to hammer out a new bilateral trade agreement. Given the volatility of Mr. Trump's trade agenda, I misread that final sentence. Let's try that again. The not so bad elements would be USMCA compliant goods like auto parts and some other products will be able to enter the US duty free while the two governments try to hammer out new bilateral trade agreements. Because if we were going to be doing that, then we would need 3 bilateral trade agreements, new ones. Canada, Mexico, and Canada, US one, and then a US, Mexico. Given the volatility of Mr. Trump's trade agenda with its ever-shifting priorities, it is impossible to predict where all of this is heading, leaving areas of uncertainty that are bound to affect the financial markets. What does seem certain is that whatever the outcome in the U.S. Supreme Court on Mr. Trump's emergency tariffs under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, Mr. Trump will never agree to bind U.S. duty rates under any deal with Canada or to forego the use of tariffs for unrestricted national security reasons. In addition, we can kiss goodbye to the binational dispute settlement panel system. While it worked fairly well in the early days of the North American Free Trade Agreement, it has not had a particularly salutary history in the recent years. Even under the Biden administration, the Americans ignored adverse USMCA panel decisions, such as in the auto sector, thus confirming what Jean Chrétien said in an interview not too long ago to Catherine Cullen. So if you think that this stuff is new, it's not. The United States, when it comes to trade, it has always done what it wants, regardless of trade agreements or the law or panel decisions or whatnot. There are a lot of balls in the air and other substantive issues, but leaving aside how any revised USMCA might be packaged, Canada must use every bit of muscle to settle outstanding issues, including US tariffs on steel and aluminium, auto parts, and softwood lumber. Dealing with cyber and border security and supply-managed dairy products are other matters specific to Canada, and the US are substantively different from those with Mexico. The Canada-US talks might also cover some key defense issues, notably on the North American Aerospace Defense Command, production, sharing, and procurement. These are sensitive areas, but closely intertwined with trade. All of this envisages a reworked and asymmetrical North American trading framework encompassing a series of separate U.S. deals with Canada and with Mexico. It will take considerable skill on Canada's part to keep USMCA alive in some way. The downside is that the outcome could be an agreement of reduced scale replaced by what in essence is a US-centric trading system, far different than the three-way partnership that has been in place since the NAFTA came into effect more than 30 years ago. Looking ahead, then, the once heralded and laudable North American free trade ideal is history. Canada-US relations will proceed mostly on a bilateral basis consisting of managed trade with quotas in key sectors, possibly within a reworked USMCA that at least provides a framework for stability in commercial dealings. It is critical that the Canadian side develops clear, proactive ideas about what a future deal or deals should look like, rather than reacting to diktats from the US when trade negotiations resume in the new year. I am not as convinced that we were going to have a series of 3 bilateral deals. I know the United States wants this very, very, very much, but I also am fairly confident that the United States and Canada do not want that course of action and are prepared to stand as a common front. Whether that will be successful, I don't know. But we also do know that Trump doesn't like pushback, and sometimes because he likes the easy fight, if there's pushback, then he just pivots again, like he does often on a daily basis about different things, and then creates a new condition or new rules or a new reality in which if he decides to go ahead with a trilateral deal in the end because we're just going to make reaching bilateral deals too tough because we'll be somewhat uncooperative, then he might just decide that that the fight is too hard, that he doesn't have the appetite for the pain that will come with it, and will therefore say, okay, fine, trilateral deal, and then start to spin it as, well, that's what I wanted all along, type thing. Or I won somehow. So I wouldn't give up hope yet on that, the opportunity for keeping the deal trilateral, which would really be in our best interest here. But yeah, because Canada and Mexico together, I think we're rapidly having enough of the Trump BS. And I don't think it would be that very hard for us to just passively resist. It's like, yeah, you know what? We've given that thought, and that's not going to work out for us. We're not really down with that. So it's a non-starter. We're going to have to find another path. Well, you're not okay with that? I'm sorry, that's non-negotiable. We're just not going to be doing that. So if you want to pursue that path, you're more than welcome to, but you will be wasting your time. The ball's in your court. And we definitely know that Mark Carney has the personality and the firmness required to be able to make that point. And even though I don't know as much about the Mexican president, Claudia Sheinbaum, from what I do know, from what I have been reading, she's pretty no nonsense herself. So yeah, it could. It's going to be an interesting butting of heads, and with this new ambassador, Mr. Wiseman, who can speak Wall Street to the Wall Street team that the President of the United States has. He might have the words or be quite familiar with what levers in the system there are to pull to ensure that the conversation casually and gently gets steered away from the bilateral stuff to the trilateral stuff where it needs to be. You just don't have to play the game. Just refuse to play the game. And then let them deal with the mess. rather than them getting all intimidated and causing us to scramble and panic and make messes of our own that we have to clean. Just, I'm sorry, but that will not work for us. Or, I'm sorry, but what you are trying to do here doesn't work with me. Yes, I see you being all intimidating, puffing your chest. I just want you to know that that has no effect here. So you might want to deflate. Have a seat. Let's chat like people. You can disarm. This is a skill for life too, right? You can disarm a lot of people that are coming to you all hot with, when you're trying to make you feel guilty or whatnot, with just like, yeah, that thing you're doing, that's not going to work here. That doesn't work with me. And then when they get really, really upset like this, you got that, okay. I see that you have a lot to say about that. So go ahead, I'm listening. That disarms a lot of people very quickly. Just shift the ground. Shift the ground. Don't accept the rules of the terms of the game. Just shift the ground. It's a good way to deal with bullies and narcissists. Because the last thing they expect when they're coming all hot is, oh, okay, you got something to say? I'll listen. What do you got? It takes the temperature right down. And a lot of people don't know what to do with that because they want to fight. And you're just not going to give it to them. Okay, I'm listening. Throws people right off. One more little thing here. Something Canada is doing. It could be interesting. Canada will scrap a border entry program next year that made it easy for thousands of people annually, predominantly Americans, to travel into remote areas of Ontario and Manitoba without having to report a customs checkpoint, without having to report to a customs checkpoint. Starting next September, those people will have to trek to one of those border stations or use one of the yet-to-be-established designated telephone reporting sites when entering Canada. Through the Remote Area Border Program, RABC, set to end next September, the Canada Border Service Agency issued annual permits allowing pre-approved Canadian and U.S. residents to freely cross. Through the Remote Area Border I'm having trouble now all of a sudden. Through the Remote Area Border Program set to end next September, the Canada Border Services Agency issued annual permits allowing pre-approved Canadian and U.S. residents to freely cross the border in 5 remote and sparsely populated areas. In Ontario, and starting from the east, those areas include Coburn Island and the Sault Ste. Marie's Upper Lock system on the border with Michigan waterways from Pigeon River all the way to the Lake of the Woods, and the entirety of the Canadian shores on Lake Superior. Also affected is Minnesota's northwest Angle area, bordering southern Manitoba, only accessible by water or by driving through approximately 40 miles of the Canadian province, where existing permit holders entering Canada via land must contact the CBSA's Telephone Reporting Centre, TRC, ahead of their visit. See, I didn't even know any of these things existed. The program historically attracts about 11,000 members annually, according to the CBSA, 90% of whom are Americans. As reported by the Eli Echo in Minnesota, permit holders largely consist of paddlers, fishing guides on both sides of the border and their guests, and U.S. residents who own property in Canada. The agency said introducing telephone reporting in place of RABC improves border security and, quote, builds on processes already in place across Canada, where travelers are required to report to the CBSA from designated sites every time they enter Canada. This process ensures a consistent level of security and expectations of compliance for everyone, it was stated in a press release. Telephone reporting for general aviation and private boats entering Canada was introduced around the turn of the century in the Canada-United States Accord on our Shared Border as CanPass. There are currently 377 designated marine reporting sites across Canada. It was expanded in 2022 with the creation of, quote, telephone reporting site land designation, allowing travelers by others allowing travelers by, quote, other non-commercial conveyance, let's try it again, allowing travelers by non-other, oh my God, I'm having trouble. Okay, let's slow down. It was expanded in 2022 with the creation of telephone reporting site land designation, allowing travelers by other non-commercial conveyances to enter at designated sites. I couldn't get the word conveyance out without tripping. However, CBSA told National Post via email that new sites, the location of which will be decided in the coming months in consultation with Indigenous communities, local businesses, and law enforcement partners, will be the first such land sites in Canada. Quote, replacing our ABC program with telephone reporting at the time of entry will ensure a higher level of security, accountability, and consistency in border management by enabling greater CBSA oversight over when and where travelers are entering Canada in remote areas, the spokesperson for the agency explained. According to existing CBSA guidelines, upon arrival at a land or marine reporting site, only the person operating the vehicle can exit to report, at which time they can use a phone provided or their own device to contact the TRC. Not unlike any border crossing, they must then supply all the necessary information for themselves and all passenger identification, length of stay, reason for traveling, any required declarations, and so on. The agency said the telephone reporting measure, quote, will also more closely align with how travelers report to U.S. Customs and Border Protection and remote areas on their side of the border. CBP, that's Customs and Border Protection for the United States, doesn't appear to employ a specific land-based reporting system, but it does use an app called Reporting Offsite Arrival Mobile, which is acronymed ROAM, which allows pleasure boaters and other travelers arriving in remote locations to report entry into the United States via their own device or tablet located at a local business tablet located at local businesses to satisfy reporting requirements. National Post has contacted CBP for more information about its programs in remote border entry. CBSA's decision ends over a year of uncertainty for the RDAC permit holders. Last September, Canada put the program on pause, suspending all new applications and renewals while it underwent an administrative review. CBSA later extended existing permits issued after CBSA later extended existing permits issued after September 1st, 2023 until the end of 2025. Those were extended again, this time until the program ends officially at 11:59 p.m. on September 13th, 2026. Some U.S. politicians have expressed concern about the impending change. Minnesota Congressman Peter Stauber, in a letter sent to Canadian Public Safety Minister Gary Anandasangri, outgoing Canadian Ambassador to the U.S. Kirsten Hillman, and CBSA President Aaron O'Gorman, said he and his peers were disappointed with the end of the RABC, but encouraged by the promise of expanded telephone reporting. But the letter, co-signed by fellow Republicans Jack Bergman, a Michigan congressman, and North Dakota Senator Kevin Cramer, was not without reproach. Quote, unfortunately, the nearly 2-year review of the RABC program has been marred by uncertainty and retracted statements. During this time, the Canadian government has been unable to respond to the questions permit holders have posed. The letter also asks Canadian officials to explain how stakeholder needs will be handled during and after the program ends, whether access will be restricted in any way, and seeks clarity on the access rules for current users. It also encourages them to visit the remote communities to, quote, engage with local elected officials, businesses, and property owners affected by the change. Donnie Sorley, owner of the Chippewa Inn on the Canadian side of the Saginaga Lake, was cautiously optimistic about the changes. Quote, it very well could be a good thing as long as they get it figured out, Sorley told Paddle and Portage magazine. I didn't even know there was such thing as Paddle and Portage magazine. There you go. Until then, we're still feeling a bit left in the dark here. So there you go. Some changes there happening. All right. That's the stuff I had for you today, kids and cubs. So I'm going to say that this is the end of our Boxing Day episode of the Daily Beaver Morning Show. And we hope that you loved listening to us, because we love making this for you. Remember, sharing is caring and word of mouth is priceless. So please tell your peeps and poops all about us. We really appreciate it when you do, especially when you tell everyone why it is that our content resonates with you. It's advertising that we just cannot buy. And we thank you for being our mouthpieces. Spread the word loud and proud. Spread the beaver loud and proud. All right, kids and cubs. If you are a busy beaver or a busy cub on the go, and sometimes you're not able to watch the Daily Beaver Morning Show live with the best DamFam in all of podcasting, well, hey, don't worry, because thanks to Kit the Ray Girl, we have something for you. Our podcast versions of our show, which are available on our pod page. And thanks to her, who sponsors our pod page, all you need to do is scan this QR code and it will bring you right there. podpage.com/the truenortheagerbeaver with the hyphen between each one of those words. And when you go there and click on subscribe, when we have something fresh off podcast bandwidth, right into your feed. You don't even have to come looking for us. We just show up. There you go. Now, kids and cubs, if you would like to help us, there are ways you can do so. The first way you can do so is by making your way to the True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated YouTube page. And that QR code that just appeared in the top corner will bring you right there. And while you are there, I'm not saying that you must obey Kit, Cassie, and Elaine, but probably should. And smash with our buttons, like, share, and subscribe. Have a jolly good time. Get your finger exercise. Keep it nice and slim. Just click. See? I do it all the time. Look how slim my fingers are. So yeah, give us our buttons a little click. It helps us with the algorithm. So thank you. And kids and cubs, if you would like to help us with the financial costs that we incur to bring this show to you, because we do have some, we would be very grateful for some expressions of enthusiastic encouragement on your part for us to be able to do more. And you can do that. New QR code. See how that happened? Just like magic. By going to our coffee page. That's coffee, ko-fi.com/eagerbeaver, all in one word. And when you drop a couple of loonies or toonies into our tip jar at to help with the emergency hydration fund here at the Beaver Lodge, you do your part to fight the awful scourge that is dry beaver. So, do your best to keep your favorite beaver moist, because with that last sip, I just emptied my cup. Oh no. Please fill my cup. Thank you so much for everything that you do to and for us, to support us. All right, kids and cubs. If you also want to support us, but by doing it in a Buy Canadian kind of way, well then a direct transfer from your bank to ours using our email address, truenortheagerbeaver@gmail.com, will ensure that your donation is 100% Canadian, that no US tech bro gets a cut of your money, and in fact that the cut that would go to them goes to us instead, which means that your donation goes further, so you get more beaver for your loonie. How about that? Now that sounds like a good deal, especially with the economy and the way that it is. Imagine you get all the beaver you want for a donation of your choice. That's a good price. Now, kids and cubs, if you are not able to donate financially, right, either through coffee, either through direct transfer, either through super chat, as Kit, my dogs are goth, has done today, thank you so much, or by buying a membership through our YouTube page, then you do not need to worry, because the gifts of your attention and participation are the ones that matter the most to us. And truenortheagerbeaver@gmail.com is the exact same email address where you can send us a contribution in words, as in what it is that you think about the show, for example, good, bad, or ugly, or some suggestions for guests that we can have, or even just a message of encouragement, like, oh, Atta Beaver, you did well today. Really enjoyed the show. So anything, just write to us, because you got something good that happened to you. Share it with us. We love receiving good news. We love it when good things happen to good people, like the DamFam. So let us know. Just share with us. We love to hear from you. truenortheagerbeaver@gmail.com. So please write to us. Also, if you've got any questions about the show or about politics or whatnot that you would like us to answer, ask them, because we're more than happy to take your questions and address them here on the show. So, like I said, you don't really need a reason to write us. Just write. Call your beaver. It's Christmas. Call your beaver. So yeah, send us a little something, because we really do love to hear from you. We love all the ways that you participate. And remember, we also have the DamFam Discord, and also available through Instagram, thanks to Kit Uncover and the DamFam Discord. A completely DamFam originated initiative that is absolutely delightful place to be, because it keeps the conversation going. If you like the DamFam vibes, then you can keep them going after the show. So please go and give it a visit, and I'm sure somebody is going to post it in the chat so that you can find the link. All right, let's see. Because democracy is something that you do. Again, I don't remember the name of the petition off the top of my head. I think it is House of Commons petition number 6821 that would encourage the members of the House to table legislation that would make it such that foreign media ownership laws would be changed so that Canadian media would be owned by Canadians for the benefit of Canadians. So please put your signature to that petition and send it around to people that you know and love in your own circle of influence, so we can get those numbers up, and maybe we can get a little action on that. That would be very good. All right. Words of wisdom, kids and cubs. I will be honest with you today. When the alarm rang this morning, I turned it off and then rolled over for some extra snuggles. And I really was thinking, well, you know, Mr. Grizzly's on. He's got it. There'll be a show this morning regardless. I'm still tired, and I could probably still sleep some more. And then about 5 minutes later, I would say, I thought better of it. And I said, now, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, you love your DamFam time. Get your beaver tail down there so you can join that show. So my words of wisdom to you are, sometimes you may have that little voice in your head that says, hey, there's this thing that I'm supposed to be doing right now, but I might want to rest a little more. And again, normally I would recommend choose rest, but every now and then, sometimes you just need to give yourself a little nudge, a little extra push to be able to do the thing that you're supposed to do. And then, you know, once I actually was out of bed, it wasn't that hard to get down here, actually. It was rather enthusiastic and eager, because, again, it's DamFam time. So sometimes you just need to give yourself a little push, because, look, I had a wonderful time. I got time with Mr. Grizzly, thanks you. My day's getting off to a wonderful start. I'm in exceptionally good spirits. And we had some good time. So it was a good decision. A very good one. So, you know, yes, rest. Sometimes you got to tap out. But sometimes you actually do have it in you. You just need to give yourself a little push. There you go. My words of wisdom. All right. It could be a tough world out there, kids and cubs. So please be kind to and gentle with yourself. If I'm not mistaken, I think today might be day one of the World Juniors as well, for those of you who like hockey. So hopefully I'll have a chance in the credits to take a little look at that and see who's playing today and when. But now, before we do that, kids and cubs, I think it is time for a little audience participation. What do you say, DamFam? Okay. At the count of 3, could I please have all you lovely, beautiful, and wonderful people out there in Beaverland say, Mr. Beaver, please cue the cock. 1, 2, 3. Let me hear it. Oh, wow. That was absolutely fantastic. It's almost like you were asking it like it was a Christmas carol. Lovely, all melodious. And once again, I cannot deny you.
You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Messieurs Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters, CanadianTarot.com, their uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community, and the Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from farm-fresh ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind. We are grateful to the Crier Media Network for its support, Pete Jarvis for our artwork, and Paul Joseph Something for our opening and closing sequence music.
Just dancing to the funky music. All right. Yes, the World Juniors are on. There are 4 matches today, so lots of hockey for you. If that's all you're doing today. At 1 p.m., Sweden will be playing Slovakia. These times are Eastern, so please make the adjustments. 3:30 p.m., Denmark versus Finland. 6 p.m., Germany versus the United States. And at 8:30 Eastern tonight, the match we're all waiting for, Team Canada versus the Czech Republic to open it up. And of course, Team Canada will be competing against many other nations. There are 10 nations in this tournament. So Canada finds itself in Group B, along with the Czech Republic, and then also Finland, Denmark, and Latvia. So let's wish good luck to the Canadian team here. And I'm looking at the groups, and Group A is pretty stacked. So it's going to be interesting seeing who emerges from that one. Slovakia, Switzerland, Germany, Sweden, and United States, all 5 nations, I believe, have won medals in recent years at the World Juniors. So groups A and B are maybe a little unbalanced this year. But yeah, there'll be some great matches in Group A for people who just like hockey, whether it's Team Canada playing or not. And we will see how things emerge, because we will be following this over the next couple of days. That's all I've got for you now, kids and cubs. Amour et bisous. Have a happy Boxing Day. If you still got time with family and all that kind of stuff, please enjoy it. And we will see you again on Monday, 27, 28, not 29. So not still in the holiday zone, but not yet getting close to the New Year celebrations yet. So might have a more regular show for you on Monday, but you will be here and I will be here, hopefully. And we will have a good time together. And for those who were wondering, not fully 100% better yet. I think you can still hear it in my voice, but feeling much, much better, and still on the upswing. So keep the healing energy coming. It's very useful. All right, kids and cubs. And for me, that, I think, is close to the end of everything. So, as I have a little Christmassy music, hopefully that you can hear as I'm on my way off. I hope that you have a beautiful day. And with that, it's you guys. I am gone. If I can figure out how to work the basement here. There you go. Just got it. Bye.